We mustn't dwell. Not today, not Rex Manning Day. Superb.
Yeah, Empire Records. Now, Gail, here's the thing that might surprise you. It's an anniversary. How many years have we been celebrating Rex Manning Day?
Oh my God. Whatever it is, it's going to be way more than I think it is. Because to me, that movie, it feels like it just came out. I'm going to say, is it 20 years?
It's 25 years. Happy Rex Manning Day.
God, that's insane.
Is that
Not
fucking crazy?
I love that movie. I'm going to rewatch it. I've decided.
I have not seen that movie in many, many years. The Hickman Bell is the one who posted it up there, and I'm glad to see it. And guess what? He had to go get Rex's lunch. So, he's having a big day.
I'm getting Rex's lunch.
I always felt bad, though, because, Rex left in such a pissy mood. You know what I mean? And then did that Who line at everybody, like, I hope y'all just fade away.
Fade away.
Just hurts no one's feelings. Doesn't even mean anything.
No, he came off like a real dork when he said that.
They're working in a record store. They don't overly feel good about themselves. Chris Stanley put a thing up on the iBang today that's so fucking cute. And it's these young metalheads. I guess they're like 15 years old. They had shot this video in 1989. And it was how exciting they were going to be down at the used record place. And they're in Alabama, and they're just showing off shit that doesn't matter. Like, there's the Chinese restaurant. We're not allowed to go in there anymore, man. And it's just that thing where you go, oh, my God, is there anything dumber than a young boy? You know what I mean? Like,
no.
I am so happy there's no video of me talking when I was in 8th grade. I would probably kill myself.
Yeah, that's really the worst. It's the worst time. And not to mention, if you actually could hear your own voice, I don't think there's actually anything worse than a middle school boy's voice. That in between boy and manhood voice. Ugh, it's like nails on a chalkboard.
And yet they somehow feel like so fucking smart that they've invented this sound of when other people say stuff. Duh. Boy. You know what I mean? They fucking feel so superior to people. In that Richard Linklater thing, which was, it kind of was like Empire Records, but it was Dazed and Confused. The youngest one, the 9th graders' friends, when they would be told, like, hey, if you leave, you can't come back. And they would be like, oh, did you hear that? If we leave, we can't come back. Oh, no, what shall we do? And I swear to God, my fucking buddy Rap, when we were that same age, used to do shit like that all the time. He was so annoying to adults, and he was so annoying to... And it gave me chills because I thought, oh, that's Rap's personality. I have no idea that it's just the fucking way of the world at that age.
Right.
Did you hear that? He was getting some. Son, you wouldn't know what to do with if you did get it. We're going to talk to Earl Douglas in a minute. He's put together some comedy movies he wants us all to see to take our minds off the bad times. But I just want to say we're all... John Prine going out like that is just, it's so fucking sad to me. But there was something that I heard last night, and I don't want to bring people down, but I just want us for a moment to realize how bad this shit can get. I told you our friend Eastside Dave lost his father, and I watched Dave last night do his 1 hour, whatever it is, podcast on Compound Media. And Dave was telling the story. He his dad goes into the hospital. His dad has got some kind of infection, but they're not overly concerned about it. The last time that he had talked to his dad was like, Dave, can you just please hang up so I can eat my breakfast? You know what I mean? Like just a regular thing. He loses his dad. Dave, I can't tell you, by the way, how close this family is. I mean, they're just amazingly, amazingly close family and always have been. Dave goes rushing over to see his mom. They're both wearing the masks, gloves, and they have to be 30 feet away from each other, and they're yelling back and forth about how their heart is broken. He can't hug his mom on the day that she loses her husband, his dad. This is where we are here. So, I mean, I know we're talking all the time about, you know, flattening the curve and stuff like this, but I fucking say this. I want these fucking germs dead. I want the vaccine. I want to drive them off the fucking planet just like we were attacked by aliens. This is fucking so heartbreaking to me. To think that this family can't mourn with each other. It's just so heartbreaking. And my heart goes out to the McDonald family. I can't tell you how much I love those folks. And that story is so sad to me. And that's all, you know.
Yeah.
I say every day I don't want us to bring people down. And, you know, maybe we can look at it as a positive. Look how strong they are, that they're able to remember. You know, Dave is smart enough to remember you got to take care of your mom. Even though you just lost your dad, your hug can be deadly or whatever. And he, you know, he did all the right things. But it's beyond heartbreaking. All these things that we want to come together for. And we're not able to do it right now. So let's get strong. I fucking want a bounty put out on that vaccine. I think all the countries in the world should be saying, you know, this is our number one thing. Yes, we want to slow it down. Yes, we want things for the people who get it, but we want to make sure people don't get this, because that's the only time we're going to be able to go out and be ourselves again.
Yes, exactly. Even before then, you know, we're never going to be fully free until we get the vaccine. And in some ways, you know, you have to look at the comfort. We've never had this many people working on something at the same time. You know, everyone across the board is working for one goal, to figure out what this vaccine is. It's just a long process, and testing it and making sure that it's safe for people to take. But yeah, we're not going to be fully operational until we get it.
Look, I took a biology class in 10th grade. We didn't have chemistry, but if I would have passed that class, I would have taken chemistry. Mm-hmm. I feel like we could do this in a half hour, 45 minutes.
You think so?
Yes. You just fucking get the right chemical reaction. Mm-hmm. That's all you need.
And what about the testing process?
I'll take the first one. How's that?
Okay.
I'll take the first one and then go out there.
Okay, cool.
I don't want to call myself a guinea pig because that's the kind of nickname that can catch on. So I'll just call myself the first tester. All right, do we got Earl Douglas ready to go? Is he all set up here, Vito?
Yes, he is. Earl, you're on.
Hi, everyone. How's everybody doing?
Hi, Earl. That's your thing.
We're doing
Earl?
great.
Yeah, I don't know whether you heard what I said, but no, I'm not doing all that great. I want you to give me the big cheer up, Earl. And you said you put together a little box for the iBang today, right? You're ready to rock it.
Yes, I got some underrated comedies by unlikely directors. These are fantastic comedies that either underperformed at the box office or aren't talked about a lot. And I think the popular canon, and it really should be. And they're directed by people that you wouldn't expect to direct these kind of comedies. So
all right.
I'm just going to start off with two by Mr. Martin Scorsese. It's The King of Comedy. And
let me guess the other one,
Hours.
Goodfellas. I actually do say I do think Goodfellas is fucking hysterical. I'll laugh at Goodfellas and the lines in Goodfellas that Pesci does more than I would most comedies. After Hours we've talked about a lot. I like that one. And what was the other, King of Comedy? It's not so much. It's not so much funny as it is cringy, but it does have the word comedy in it. But I would not expect to see that in the comedy section.
No, I mean, if we're calling that a dark comedy, it's very dark.
When I think dark comedy, I think Fridays. All right, what else you got, Earl?
I got Quick Change, starring and co-directed by Bill Murray.
Who did he co-direct it with?
It's Howard, and I can't remember the second name off the top of my head. The last name off the top of my head.
Howard Hughes?
That's huge.
Yeah, but I can't believe this movie bombed when it came out, and for years it wasn't even available on like VCR, a video cassette, or DVR, or DVD. It's a fantastic comedy. It's about a bank robbery that goes off well, and him trying to get out of New York. Which
I feel like everybody's seen it though, Earl. Don't you?
I've seen it. And something wouldn't be available on
DVR. I remember seeing it.
We didn't hear what you said, Chris.
It wouldn't be available on DVR because you have to tape it off your television.
I meant to say VCR. I'm sorry.
Look what year it is, Earl. We don't have VCRs anymore. All right, let's run through these, Earl. Don't explain them. Just tell us what you got first, and then we'll discuss them.
We got Uptown Saturday Night, starring Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby, directed by Sidney Poitier. We got Leatherheads, directed by George Clooney, and Bulworth, directed by Warren Beatty.
All right, the last three I've seen, and I'm not a fan of any of them. And I know some people like Bulworth. Have you ever seen it, Gail?
Out, but I remember seeing it, and I remember I do know people who will say it's underrated. Like people will say, no, that's actually a good movie or a really good comedy. But I honestly haven't seen it since it came out. So
I've never liked old white people rapping and acting like that black people are going to enjoy that and treat it like it's something. I feel like the whole thing is a little stupid. Uptown Saturday Night, I saw it when I was a kid. I wasn't a big fan. Cosby, I don't think he ever had a hit movie. Despite all of his fucking success, it never worked for him at the theaters. But I know Kevin Hart is talking about remaking that, or at least was talking about it before the shit hit. And what was the one before that, Earl?
Leatherheads, directed by George Clooney.
I saw that. I wasn't a big fan either. Jim from The Office is in it.
I'm out.
It blew. It's not a good movie. It's properly rated. It's forgotten.
No, this is it's like an older football film. That's the idea.
Yeah, it's like the early days of football, like, I don't know, 1920s or something, back when professional football. And I know I watched the film, but I can't tell you what the plot line was other than George Clooney was a player coach. That was all I really remember about it.
The only thing I liked about Leatherheads was the anecdote I read about it in the Office Oral History.
Give it to everybody.
Jim had to cut his hair for Leatherheads, and then convinced everybody that he didn't get it with a wig, and it was a big thing on set. So for like a season, Jim was wearing a wig, and that's the most interesting thing I read about Leatherheads.
See, I would have said, wear your wig for fucking Leatherheads and keep your Jim hair. We're the one giving you a steady fucking job.
And like you'd be more likely to say like, hey, that looks a little off. Like that looks different than his usual hair. I'm not going to pick up that he was wearing a wig in a movie like you normally don't see his hair. By the way, I have a wig factoid, not to get too off topic.
No, it seems like we're staying on.
No, this is really weird. There's an Instagram account that I follow that like puts up like old pictures and stuff, and one of it was the wig that Kiefer Sutherland wore in The Lost Boys. And I was like, I always thought he had that mullet. Like, to me, I thought that was his real hair. I was very shocked to think that he was wearing a wig for that entire role.
Well, I'm going to give you a little look at Bruce Willis in the movie or John Travolta and think that looks ridiculous. But when John Travolta was wearing a wig walking down the street, everyone fucking could see it. But in a movie, it looks fine.
Yeah. If Kiefer Sutherland was wearing a mullet wig right now, we'd all call him out on it. But
I had no idea. I had no idea that was a mullet wig.
I know.
Earl has put together a list, best wigs in the movies. And I think it's an interesting area to go into. I never noticed when women do, but most men can wear a piece in a movie. Even when I was watching the Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, I remember when Brad Pitt took off his like fucking hairpiece to have a fight. I'm like, had no idea he was wearing that before he got in the fight. So what do you think, Earl? Overall, best wig in your entire list? What would you say?
I thought Sinatra pulled off wigs pretty well in his movie.
Thank you very much. That's a good call, Earl. So Sinatra. The most underrated comedy by a director that you would not expect to direct that. Who directed Leatherheads?
George Clooney.
Never directed again?
I think he did 2 more movies after that.
Interesting.
It was interesting because this is the follow-up to Good Night and Good Luck, which was outstanding. It was an excellent film.
Yeah, you never watched it again. I rewatched The Descendants the other night. Thought it was terrific.
Has Clooney ever worn a wig?
He doesn't need to. He's got beautiful hair.
It's
beautiful
perfect.
fucking hair. Now, worst wig I've ever seen, Yul Brynner. You could barely even say it. It was that bad. So, Earl, what do you think that we disagreed, at least I disagreed on your last 3. I will say this about Quick Change. I remember saying it, remember enjoying it. I wouldn't put it anywhere near the top of my Bill Murray's, and I never really watched it more than maybe twice my whole life.
Yeah, I caught Quick Change on cable one night, and I'm like, okay, let me just check this thing out, and I thought it was fantastic. It was great period piece.
You think it's the best thing? You think it's the best thing Bill Murray ever did?
That's tough because he's done a lot of great work. I wouldn't put it, like with the Ghostbusters or Groundhog's Day, but I wouldn't put it, I wouldn't rank it next to Rock the Casbah either. You know what I mean? So
Ouch.
It's
I thought that would have been one of your more I thought that would have been your more underrated comedies. That would have been ballsy.
Oof, that was not Bill at his best.
Well, a friend of mine wrote it, so I'd rather not run it down the whole fucking time, okay, Earl? I don't go attacking everything your fucking favorite band does. You know who I'm talking about, right? The Cult of Personality Boys. So, most underrated comedy, Cult of Personality. I'm going to agree with you. That's a fucking great song. It's the only song that band ever did.
One and done.
One and done. I know, but they never make radio.
Yeah, never had. Cult was a top 10 hit, and they never had another song as big. But even to have one hit is a pretty extraordinary thing.
Well, I'm just one away from that happening, Earl. So let's give me fucking credit. Well,
I
more,
think you
and
can
I'm
do
in
it.
that. Yeah. I've written a song called "I'm Also the Cult of Personality," and it's
Also the Cult of
it's kind of it's an answer song, and you don't hear many of those.
No.
Yeah, that's a lost art.
Yeah. Now, 2 of your things, I would say, your Scorsese and this Quick Change are almost slapstick movies. You're a slapstick fan. I just figured that out tonight.
I think I'm more dark comedy than broad comedies because king of comedy and After Hours are definitely darker
But
comedy.
you like it dark and broad.
Yeah, you like it dark and broad at the same time. Uptown Saturday Night is a broad comedy. So is Bullworth.
Not so much Bullworth. Uptown Saturday Night was kind of an answer to Sidney Poitier's answer to blaxploitation movies. So it was
a bad
It
answer.
played a little bit broad. But
I have a question for you guys.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do you think that Rex Manning was wearing a wig?
I would have said no until right now, and now I'm saying 100% yes. There's no fucking doubt about it. And remember when Bowie did that kids movie, where he showed the outline of his cock throughout the movie?
Yes, yeah.
I don't know what it is. What was it?
Labeth.
Never Ending Story? Yeah, that's right. Labeth, he says. It's
What
labyrinth.
you said?
Yeah, he just went, yeah, Labeth. I'm going to say this. I think not only was he wearing a wig in that, I also think he had a codpiece. Because I've seen his dick in a movie before, and it didn't seem as massive as it was in that movie.
It seems strange to wear that for a children's film.
And there's a scene
For an
where
adult
she's
film,
just staring at it. And she's,
Yeah.
what? She's, she became a sex symbol, but she's underage. And there's a scene where she's just staring at his cock and gently licking her lips.
That
Yeah,
scene.
uncomfortable.
Yeah, and then he puts underneath it, the director just puts the verbiage, you know what she wants, which I thought was ridiculous. Earl, fantastic job. I'm going to give it 2 apples.
I'm going to give it 3 wigs.
3 Wigs is cool.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. I
but
just
more
saw a
importantly-
picture. More importantly, what?
More importantly, I think it's just a great way to check out 5 fantastic films.
Yeah, we're already done. We said goodbye. It was already finished. I think other than Uptown Saturday Night, because that was like a 70s film, I'm willing to bet most people have seen that. I can't imagine anyone missed Quick Change. Because it's Bill Murray and people fucking adore him. And he's the kind of clown that's sad on the inside. Earl Douglas, thank you very much, buddy.
Take
All right,
care of yourself,
thank you,
Earl.
Oh, by the way, just so you know, you took a little bit of shit last night on Eastside Dave's eulogy show, and so did Chris Stanley.
What'd he say?
You know how you guys didn't check in, even though I told you, and then he just called you black and fats.
Hey, wait a minute.
He says, I don't know what I've done to get black and fat so upset.
Sounds like a good sitcom.
Yeah.
Which one's Chris?
I don't know. It doesn't matter, does it? All right. Thanks, Earl. Talk to you later.
Peace, Earl.
Everybody.
Hi.
All right. So there's a picture that Christine Evans put up. And it's them sitting, far enough away, even though they live together. I don't know why they're sitting so far away from each other, but on a rooftop. Looks like a rooftop. Really, really nice. And she writes, I Heart New York. That's good. We ought to try to fucking adapt that as our city's thing.
Yeah. I think you could catch on.
This is sweet. Adam Sandler put up a Vic Henley thing.
Oh, did he?
Then he
really
wrote,
sweet.
such a funny man, loved him, thoughts and prayers to his family. I'm just going to write back, hey, Adam, why didn't you put him with one of your fucking movies like you do everybody else that you seem to like? And send.
What? I thought we were going to think about that. You sent it?
No, I send things. When I ever think of something, I thumb it out. I call that thumbing it out. And then I hit send. David tells that it's hard to come up with words when there is so much loss going on right now. I'm just going to write, Dave, your job is to come up with words. You're supposedly a comedian. And send.
No, stop sending these. Just take a minute and think about it.
All right, I'm going to write to Opie. If you liked him so much, why didn't you ever have him on your show like you did your other friends? And send.
He did. He really did. You shouldn't have sent that.
Oh, shit. Man, I gotta really take my time before I send stuff out. Well, Earl took a shot at something today. You gotta give him credit for that.
Yeah. I think that the conversation moved in an interesting place. I mean, nobody saw the wig conversation coming.
I know. Vito, you said somebody wants to comment on the wig?
Scott from Tennessee wants to comment on the wigs.
All right.
Hey, Scott.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Corona.
Anyway, Burt Reynolds, Smoking the Bandit, best wig, and best, but in my opinion, underrated movie, Kentucky Fried Movie.
Kentucky Fried Movie?
Yeah, no one ever talks about that. It was great.
Yeah, well, it was made for like $2. That's the thing. It was an independent film when nobody was making those, but it set off John Landis's career after that. I don't remember a wig being in it, though.
No, I'll say in best wig was Burt Reynolds in Smoking the Bandit.
Yeah, but you should have stayed with that instead of going back off.
If he was wearing a wig, it seems unnecessary. Like, he's wearing a hat almost the whole thing.
Well, the wig was really just coming out of the hat.
Mm-hmm.
His problem was he couldn't grow hair on the sides. The top of his head was fine, but he could not grow side hair. Do you realize that if everyone just thinned on the side, no one would ever care about it?
That's true.
I would be like, yeah,
It
it's fine. I don't fucking... Yeah, I don't have side hair. So what? I look like a fuckboy. I'm good with that.
It'd be pretty cool, actually.
The cult of personality.
Earl is right. It is a good one song.
It is a fucking good song. Did I just hear someone snapping their fingers?
Yeah, that was me.
What were you doing? Ordering another fucking tea?
No, I was singing. I was doing it with the song, but maybe the delay made it sound like I wasn't doing it. I was just doing it into silence. But over here, it was with the music.
I had post-traumatic stress from that because I told you when I did Gurian's show, he snapped at his staff and pointed where some noise was coming at to shut some people up. Yeah, it was fucking. It was one of the funniest things I've ever seen. He had that look on his face, like, you're my intern. You should be on this fucking shit. I found this out. Waiters love it when you snap your fingers.
They very much don't.
Yeah.
There's only one motion I feel that it's okay, because like a lot of the waving and the gesturing is pretty rude. But I would say that there's one gesture that's okay for servers, and that's the check, please, I'm signing in the air. Because that's just like, don't worry about coming over here and wasting your time. Just know that I'm ready for this. And I think that's okay.
The thing that always bothers me is like, I like to pay cash. So I'm going, I'm putting the check, but what I really want to do is act like I'm taking money out of my wallet.
That would be cool. Just make it like, just do your sign is just making it rain. And then they know that means cash is coming their way.
To me, I like to say cash is king. You know what I mean? Or I'll say cash is clay. When they go, how would you like to pay? I'll just go, cash is clay, motherfucker. Cash is clay. Because I don't want to, I'm trying to stay off the grid. But I'll admit this, in a month I haven't touched my fucking cash because everyone just wants to do credit cards now. And I feel like they're just using this to force everybody to turn their back on money.
Yeah, dirty, dirty cash money. Now,
that's what they say.
I've only been to the grocery store like once or twice through this whole quarantine. I'm just doing like big trips. But one of the first times that I went, everybody, almost everyone at that point was wearing masks. Everyone was wearing, gloves through the grocery store. But there would be like a couple people who were just like not on board yet, and they weren't wearing masks and they weren't wearing gloves. And one guy was paying for his groceries, and he just had too much in his hand and stuck a $20 bill in his mouth. And I was like, this would be disgusting in non-quarantine times. Like, that would be gross even if it wasn't covered in coronavirus. You just put the dirtiest thing in your mouth.
I remember when you were a kid and you'd always want to put coins in your mouth, and your fucking mom would go, "It's so dirty," and you're like, "How could it be dirty? We all use it." And now I like to suck on a quarter.
The taste of the quarter was definitely the best tasting coin.
I'm going to 100% agree with him. I don't know why, but a quarter tastes better than a penny or a nickel. Nickel almost had zero taste. It's fucking terrible.
Nickel actually had a very dirty taste, like bad breath, I wouldn't recommend a nickel.
I haven't put change in my pocket in 15 years, at least, maybe even 20. When I'm like at 7-Eleven, I'm getting myself some Trident. I'll just fucking take the change. If there's not a cup there, I just fucking throw it. I just throw it as hard as I can back at them and go, what am I supposed to do with this? Fucking, what are we trying to do? What am I going to do? Weight my pockets down? What happens if I fall in the fucking East River? You fucking drown me, you prick. Here, suck on this quarter. It's delicious. By the way, over at my little local market, they got everything. All the fucking shit that everybody acted like they were panicking about, they got it.
Oh, that's good. That's great.
Hey, guys, we have Jessica Pilate on the line right now.
All right, let me set this up because I adore Jessica Pilate, and she is, I first met her at the National Comedy Center, and she was doing stuff with them there, but she's a writer, she's a producer, she's a talent scout, booked so many comics, their first TV spots, Stephen Colbert and other shows, and she's bi-coastal. She goes back and forth from New York to L.A. To me, she's a club kid, made good. You can follow her at Jessica Pilate. She's got a lot of style. I adore her. Let's welcome her to the show.
Thank you.
Jessica Pilate. I hope I mentioned everything, Jessica.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Kind of a cool day for you. I know you were waiting on something. Tell us about that.
This was it's hard times, but it's a really nice thing happened today. About 2 weeks ago, I reached out to Randy Newman's people, and I work with public radio. It's one of the things I do. And I said, hey, do you want to do a social distancing message for public radio? And Randy took the instructions and turned it into a song. And this guy, Randy Newman is a legend. And
legend.
So today, legend. So today, it was such an honor. We got the song. We premiered it on public radio, okay? And then he has a YouTube video, and he let us, share it. And it's an amazing song. And the best line that he says, Venus in sweatpants, which I think is just funny.
He's just so good. And, this is what he does. He'll write, those film scores so fast. And, everybody knows him by his songs, but stuff like Ragtime and then Natural. He writes beautiful, beautiful music.
Yeah, and he also is, he understands comedy. If you think about like all his older songs, they're hilarious. I guess, before early comedy days, that was something that I was always, I loved Randy Newman,
Yeah, me too. I went one night here in the city. It was at a theater, and he had written something for Broadway that didn't make it to Broadway, and I think he released a lot of the songs over the years, but it was fucking unbelievable. And he had other people coming out and was singing the songs, and I'm like, his talent level is unbelievable. You and also now you took this thing which should have been a PSA, and you're getting national press for it because Randy put out a song.
Exactly. And so, it's good to support, I support Sirius. I also support public media. And it's cool when you get someone like Randy to do something. Okay. Anyway, very grateful. It's very special. It's a very dark time. How are you guys doing?
We're riding the storm out. I mean, there's nothing else you can do. You're in L.A. It's not so bad yet there, right? I mean, it seems like it's manageable.
I mean, the thing about LA is that you feel isolated anyway. As a New Yorker, I'm used to being out, going outside, meeting my friends, running into comedians, everyone just walking outside my house. And here, I don't run into anyone. It's even my area, which is a walking neighborhood, doesn't matter. I don't run into anyone. So I was already isolated, and now I'm just extra isolated. So I was practicing social distancing by avoiding people in LA that I didn't want to be bothered with and keeping up with my East Coast friends. But, I have work here, and I go to an office, and now I'm, in my apartment. So, it's a little weird, but, luckily we are 24/7 connected on our phones, so we can be robots.
Yes, we are. We are living in some kind of a weird future thing. And you have family. I think your grandmother's in Florida, right?
In Boca, yeah.
Yeah. So
we're gonna do a Zoom. We're gonna do a Zoom call later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the part that gets to me. I don't know when we're going to get together with family again for a while. I don't know how long it's going to take for that.
That's hard. That's the part where I'm like, oh my God, when? Travel is a whole big question mark. And then of course comedy. It's like a funny thing with National Comedy Center. So I approached them a couple weeks ago when there was discussion of Zoom within corporate settings happening. And I said, oh, we should figure out Zoom for comedy. And so now they're doing, as everyone, these Zoom comedy shows. And I love to hear what you think about them because, I think it takes a little getting used to understand the format. And I think it's good, it's just weird,
It's too weird. I mean, you do need an audience for comedy. That's why when you write a great joke at home, you go and you do it in front of people and you find out, oh, this isn't a great joke, at least yet. You know what I mean? Like you have to work that in front of people before you find out, what works about it. And, the Zoom, I think a lot of people are trying to take stand-up into something that isn't stand-up,
Yeah. I mean, the problem is I wasn't muting my mic, and I was on a Zoom show the other night, and I was sort of heckling without even meaning to because I'm used to when I do a video call, you're supposed to interact, and so I was heckling.
That's Gail, wasn't Maria Bamford telling us that she had some horrible Zoom experience yesterday?
I think that she called it Zoom bombing, where people show up to, beyond just heckling, but showing up to kind of disrupt it and calling her names and posting a bunch of stuff. So I think, that was a group of people doing that.
Wow.
Yeah. I mean, for you guys, is it harder to get those show running, or you just have people call in and it's
Yeah, the thing is, I've never wanted to do a home studio because I always felt like everybody needs to be together to do a show. And, yesterday we had James Taylor on the phone, and that was great. But James Taylor in the studio is fucking thrilling, and... there's just something different about sitting, although I got to say he was one of the best phone guests I've ever done. But for years, it's been 12 years where, because I'm serious, I go, no, I don't, if they can't come in, I don't want to interview them. And now it's the only way, because you don't want to end up killing James Taylor.
Right, exactly. That would be the worst. It's oh, well.
That would be the worst.
He died. Yeah, awful. Awful. Well, you know what I've been doing? I don't know if it's right, but I've been wearing animal masks from Halloween shop so I can see my neighbors. And everyone thinks it's really wacky, but not really, because it covers the whole damn face. So, you know, you may think I'm zany, and I might be, but I'm doing the right thing. I'm trying to have a little fun with it, you know, because
I feel like you've moved into yeah. I'm starting to feel like this is cosplay. You know, at the end of the day, you know.
I'm a little. I know it's funny because I posted this picture of my neighbor, and he was wearing cat mask. I was wearing dog, and my ex. He texted me. He's like, "Wow, I guess things are really weird for you now." I'm like, well, God, I mean, no, you got the wrong idea.
So you're single during your quarantine, huh?
Oh, single. Hello. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that makes it a little more difficult.
I don't know. I think it's better because it's better to be single than maybe with someone that you can't stand. So hopefully after this quarantine, my Prince Charming will come along. And he will not have to learn how to fix television, coffee pot, anything, because I know how to do it now.
No, now you're suddenly self-reliant.
Very much so. I don't need anyone to fix anything.
That'll never happen for me. I'm just going to be reliant, no matter what I do. I'm just I'm reliant on everything, except for this, you know, being able to do a show. Other than that. You know, what I'm trying to do is trickle down and let the economy work as best as I can.
Right.
Well,
what
I'm going to make sure.
What's the first thing you're going to do?
I really feel like I'd like just to sit in coffee shops and diners and go to museums and get New York back. I mean, it's so weird to live in New York and not experience all the reasons that you wanted to live in New York in the first place. Yeah.
I know. I was just saying that like the diners are my favorite. Just sitting in a diner, it doesn't even matter. Remember, you and I went to a diner. We all were sitting at a diner in Midtown. It wasn't the best diner, but it's still, it's nice.
That's right.
New York.
Yeah, I do remember that time because we had that wacky waitress who, wanted you to finish your food and then said that you were like an LA person and that made you mad. Right. It was that crazy thing where you feel like you're in a movie. It's perfect. It doesn't have to be fantastic to be perfect in New York. You know, I also miss this of just like being at the cellar at 2:00 in the morning and just people hanging out at the olive tree and hearing music or going over the stand. You're 5 minutes away and just running into people.
Casually, just, hey man, can I have a cigarette? So I haven't smoked. That's the one thing that's good that's come out of this is no smoking because I don't want to have lung problems.
Yeah, that's true.
Mm-hmm.
All right. I'm going to go looking for that Randy Newman song that you pulled off, but congratulations for that.
Randy Newman.
All right.
It's called Stay
Will do. Jessica Pilate, thank you so much, my friend. Bye-bye. Bye. She's one of the real people in comedy that holds it together from an industry point of view. Gail, if you know how many people who she put on national TV the first time, and that's got to be like one of the greatest fucking jobs. That when you get to that point where you call somebody, some 23-year-old kid, and say, "Look, I know you've had no recognition yet, but you're going on Colbert. Call your mom." Is that unbelievable when you think about that moment that she shares with people?
Yeah, that's such a great gig is to be able to give talented people the shot they deserve. Like that's an awesome job.
Now the other side of it, of going through 1,000 people who aren't ready, has got to be a nightmare. You know what I mean? Like just imagine how many sets she has to watch, and then tell people, okay, you're not cooked yet. You know what I mean? We're going to put you back in the oven for a little while. Vito, have you found the Randy Newman song?
Yes, I have it on his YouTube right here.
All right, now this was just supposed to be a PSA. Jessica Pilate calls up Randy Newman and says, hey, would you like to do a PSA for this local LA public radio? And this Oscar winner comes back and gives her a song. Crazy. Let's take a listen to it.
Hi, I'm Randy Newman, and I've been asked by KPCC to say some words about social distancing because of my scientific background, because apparently there's some disease that's going around. Stay 6 feet away from people. Wash your hands religiously and often, and don't touch your face. And so I was asked to do this. I wrote a song instead, actually, so I'll go play it for you. Thank you very much. I wish everyone well, and I wish myself well to some extent, and stay safe. It's hard for Americans to don't like being told what to do at all, but in this case, let's do it. Yeah? We'll be all right. Okay, all my love to everybody. Bye.
Well, that was sweet. Randy Newman is right. Americans hate to be told what to do.
That was so incredibly sweet. I can't believe it.
Don't touch your face. No, that was great. Congratulations, Jessica Pilate, right?
I know. It was awesome.
Why can't I ever do something like that? I'll tell you a quick story. And Chris, were you even with us when Randy Newman came in?
I had just started with you.
So, and Earl, of course, was there. So this is over when we were just XM radio. And we're getting the opportunity to do Randy Newman. And they said, if you have a piano, Randy, would like to play some songs from his new album when you interview him. And then he's going to go do Letterman. And so we said, well, this is fantastic. We would love to do this. So I don't know if you remember, Gail, but we were like on the 6th or 7th floor of this place on 57th Street. Was it called the Steinway Building? Was that the name of it, Chris?
Yes, it was the Steinway Building.
It's called the Steinway Building because there was a Steinway piano place on the first floor, right? So we don't have a piano. And I say to Wiki, hey, we could get Randy Newman come in who will play live, but can I get a piano up here? And Wiki says, sure. So we call downstairs. We tell the Steinway people, hey, we want to rent a piano for the day. And they go, well, it's got to be tuned. And I go, well, you know, don't you have a fucking tuned piano? They go, no, when you move a Steinway piano, it has to be retuned. I go, okay, we'll get it here early and tune it up. So they do. There's a big, there's a big fucking thing that they have, a big elevator, not the regular elevator, because you're moving a fucking Steinway piano. So they bring it up and they put the piano in. And then Randy's people said, hey, do you have that piano? And we go, yeah, we got a piano for Randy. And they go, good. Well, he's going to do Letterman after you, so he wants to come in and just go over the songs in his head for Letterman that night, and then you'll sit down and do the interview with him. And we got this giant fucking Steinway piano, and just Randy's sitting there, and I think I had a stool, or I was standing at the other end of the Steinway. And, you know, we would be having a conversation, and then he would break into song. And but first he comes in, and he was just practicing. He was just going over it, and you just hear him mum like, ba-ba-doom. You know, he's not even singing the lyrics. He's just, you know, doing this weird thing where he just does it over and over, so he's locking it into his head. I had never seen anybody practice like that before. And then, you know, we were going to do the interview. So he comes in, he goes like this, hey, that's a Steinway. You guys own a Steinway? We go, no, we had it brought upstairs. He's like, wow, that's really cool. And it all went great. We had a lovely time. He played some songs. And it's just, like I said, I'm just sitting there while Randy Newman is playing the piano and singing basically to me.
That's amazing.
Crazy. Now, I have to tell you, my whole life, I mean, I love Randy Newman. Love Randy Newman. We get the bill from the Steinway people for the rent of the 1 hour piano, $5,000.
What?
Never
For
dawned
an
on
hour?
us. Yeah, because they had to move it upstairs and tune it. And, you know, these are Steinway people. So I don't know what a fucking Steinway costs, but it must be a fuckload more than $5,000. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I'm like, couldn't
Holy
we have
shit.
just, I go, $5,000? We probably could. So, like, Wiki calls me up. He goes, what's this $5,000 bill? And I go, well, you said, yeah, you know, you said you were into it. And he goes, all right, fuck. And that's how we were back at XM, where you could just spend $5,000 to have a Steinway moved upstairs. But I was kind of shocked about the price. I acted like, yeah, of course.
Oh, yeah, it's a Steinway. Wiki?
I thought it was going to cost us $250 tops.
Now you know why he was so impressed.
Yeah. But this is the thing about Randy. Not only, like, has he written these songs, I mean, to me, if I just started to fucking run down the songs, there's so many of them I consider genius. But then, like I said, he does that. I mean, his scores are just beautiful. He's been nominated for, like, Oscars, like, a ridiculous amount of times, like 16, 17 times. And he's always the fattest guy at the Oscars. I mean, he's the only guy who doesn't care how he looks in his tuxedo. He doesn't give a shit about anything. And then he writes all those Pixar songs, you know what I mean? Which are kids' songs. Kids sing along with the same guy who did the Rednecks album, which is, you know, you can't even play those songs on the radio. I mean, he's just truly one of the most talented people and makes it look completely easy, makes it look completely comfortable. And it's the only time you'll go to a concert where people will laugh at the hit songs. Like, you hit the same lines and they laugh every single time. And they play I Love L.A. at every fucking Lakers game. You know what I mean? Like, he's written an anthem, a sports anthem, which wasn't even supposed to be about sports, but the people in L.A. loved that song so much. Now he's got a coronavirus anthem. Nice.
It's the best one. I know that much.
I know this. I honestly think that Steinway story I told was really interesting and good. You know what I mean? Like I'm one of those guys that could just tell you a story. You know, hey, speaking of Randy Newman, I got a great Steinway story. If I was doing panel tonight, you know, on Colbert, I could just tell that Steinway story.
I looked up how much Steinway pianos cost.
All right, let's take a guess. Because if it costs if it rents at $5,000, Chris, what do you think it costs to have a Steinway?
I'm gonna say for a Steinway, it's gonna cost you $23,000 to own.
Gail, what do you think it cost?
I'm going to just go more than that. I'm going to say it's going to be like $40,000.
I'm going to say the joke's on me. It costs $4,500. That I could have bought a fucking Steinway and had it sitting there. I think that they fucking just treated me like a mark on the midway. Vito, how much does a Steinway cost?
I'm seeing the lowest possible you can get is $35,000, but that is only one. The most I'm seeing is between $50,000 to $90,000.
Jesus.
I still think it. Well, look, you can rent a fucking $90,000 car for a lot less than $5,000 for the day. You see what I'm saying? We got fucking burnt.
A Steinway concert grand piano is $150,000.
Too much.
That's the one I want.
By the way, that's the one that we had because he was fucking impressed. I mean, Randy Newman was like, hey. You know what I mean? Like, he was impressed when he saw it. And I'm like, well, you're Randy Newman. You think what are we going to have here? Some fucking player piano from an old goddamn Western movie? You got a friend in me. You got a friend in me. Short people got no reason.
No reason.
150 grand, huh? That's the expensive one. You get a little fucking tiny shitty one for 35,000.
Who would even want that, though? That would be like an embarrassment.
Dude, you know, I used to... We come out of the elevator, walk right past the Steinway thing. I never saw anybody fucking leaving there with a piano once in all those years. I went in there one day, right? I went in there. Nobody even comes running over to you or anything. You know what I mean? Like, it's not even like you think somebody going to come, hey, you looking for a Steinway? You know, they're just sitting around. I go like this to the guy. I go, what are you guys really selling? You know what I mean? What is there, fucking Coke back there? Because you ain't selling these fucking pianos. I can tell that for sure. Plus,
you
you
have to
know...
be encrusted with diamonds for them to take you seriously.
Yeah, well, I was encrusted in diamonds. Davy the fat boy, isn't he round? Isn't he round? What do he weigh, folks? Can you guess what he weighs? Meanest fucking songs ever done. Bine on, big river, bine on. That song about Cleveland and the fucking river being on fire.
Oh,
Still
yeah.
singing
You played
about
that
it to
for
this
me,
day.
and I was cracking up.
My sister Sue, she's short and stout. She didn't grow up, she grew out. Well, here's the deal. Jessica Pilate fucking nailed that today. And that public radio station owes her. They fucking owe her big time. They ought to send her like a basket of masks and rubber gloves. That's what we're going to be doing with each other. You know what I mean? Like, oh, thank them for everything. Send them over some masks and some rubber gloves. Put some hand sanitizer in there. Make it nice.
Mm-hmm. They're nice.
Vito, how you doing on hand sanitizers? I know that's a big deal with you, right?
Yeah, I have a lot of hand sanitizer. There's hand sanitizer all over this office.
Good. And you got the towels that you like, the little wet towels?
Yeah, I got wipes. I got towels. They gave us masks the other day.
They did?
Yeah, the reusable ones.
So you wear your mask all the way into the office, right? Like from the time you leave to when you get in the studio?
Yeah. I mainly wear the mask if I got to go to a store or if I'm commuting, but I don't wear it here.
You take it off when you get there, huh?
Yeah, because I'm not really dealing or getting too close to anybody, and I'm the only one that uses the two offices I'm in, so there's like no need for me to wear it.
Well, man, Captain Khalees is a new thing. This is really great. I don't know whether you saw this yet, Vito, but you got a comic book, Captain Khalees against Farts a Lot.
What?
Is this like in BB Comics?
No, this is the same guy. We should put. Don't anybody go look for it. Let's put it up on the top of our Instagram. Let's main page, and what we'll do is we'll look for like superhero names. But I'll let you know when it's up.
Okay.
Oh, that's an honor.
I don't like farts a lot.
How do you know it's you?
I'm going to just guess because I do fart a lot, and it's constant.
Then why don't you like it?
Because it's not pleasant to constantly fart.
Does it hurt to fart?
But you do.
Sometimes it does hurt to fart.
At first,
it sounds like there's tacks. You know what I mean? It sounds like he's like carpet tacks are bouncing out of his ass.
Being in the office by myself, for the past month, I thought it smelled weird, and I realized that that's just what fresh air smells like.
Oh, that's sad.
That's fucking embarrassing. I'm embarrassed for you.
I just get a little gassy.
Aren't you embarrassed?
Aren't you embarrassed with yourself? What is wrong with your asshole?
What do you
All right,
chopped chicken?
it's posted up on the front page of our Instagram. Brocker Artworks did this. He's the guy. When I was away, he did this stuff of Chris Stanley. And Gail, go take a look at it. I think you're going to be very, very impressed. Vito looks great. Vito looks great. And obviously Chris looks great too.
I wouldn't say I look great, Ron. I don't even know what to make of my body in this picture.
First of all, it's a perfect likeness of the both of you. Vito, you have to feel amazing seeing this.
I feel great. Chris, I feel like, honestly, this might even be flattering for you.
I know.
That's bullshit. No, this isn't flattering. Where I'm looking at my body here in the fucking comic, and first, I don't know why my ass sticks out as much as my gut. This makes no fucking sense. What is my body supposed to look like?
Here's the part that when you see the troubled look on his face, like he doesn't know if he's ever going to stop farting, is what it looks like to me.
It's fucked up.
God, he's talented though, huh?
He's so good. This is like the coolest ever. Vito, incredible looking.
I mean, I thought that he drew accurate representations when we first saw them, but now it's just like there's no denying
it's getting better.
Yeah.
This isn't accurate at all.
Chris, you do wear a hat like that though.
No, I don't. And it seems like Sir Farts a lot is, I guess, his character.
You added the sir. You have not been knighted.
It's just farts a lot. There's no knighthood here at all.
I don't know why. I guess I'm also shitting because I am seen to be standing in a pile of my own shit that I guess is intermixed with the fart.
I didn't even notice that. Now, here's the thing. We don't even know if that's your shit. You might be just leaning. You saw some shit, so you pulled your pants down, put your fat gut in it, and then just started farting.
I don't know why I was.
Honestly, it looks like you're in the pits of hell. Like you're just wallowing in shit and farting into the air.
I guess I'm trying to fight Captain Khalees.
Then I just got this. Reposting got cut off. I don't even know what that means. Bum, 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 bum. You got a friend in me. Well, you should be very proud of yourself, Chris.
I'm not. I'm angry at Brocker Artworks. I don't know why he uses his talents to draw me in compromising situations like a man rubbing my gut in a pile of shit, whether it's mine or someone else's, I don't know.
You have a great superpower. You shit and fart
Here's
all the time.
Here's the thing that I don't understand about you, Chris. It looks like you're wearing a beanie, and yet it has a bill on it. And I don't think I've ever seen that before. Normally a beanie that has a little propeller at the top has no bill. Yet Chris has a bill, and he wears it to the side like he's the king of hip-hop.
Ron, that's not me. That's Farts a Lot. That's just some fucking fictional character that doesn't exist. And yeah, that cat doesn't exist either. So Brocker Artworks is way off. That's the small things he's way off on.
I believe there is an invisible cat in this picture. And look, here's what it writes for Vito. A true leader, a true captain. That's beautiful.
Oh my God.
Says
this
nothing.
Is a collectible.
This is amazing. This is one of the best. Like, I had a friend draw a picture of me yesterday, and I thought that was pretty cool. This blows that shit out of the water. This is the most amazing thing I've ever seen. And just to have Chris in that photo with me.
Yeah, Farts a Lot.
It's a nice comparison. He really caught the essence of your hair, too.
Yeah.
The gorgeous bun.
It looks like I'm wearing the same shirt as I did when Brocker Artworks had me attacking a woman on the subway. So there's some
that's your
continuity
dad shirt.
there.
I mean, you do wear that shirt all the time.
And there's flies flying around the shit. I don't like this at all.
Why do flies like shit so much, Chris?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
Sir?
I think they eat the shit.
I just fainted. Sorry.
Oh, God. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm okay now. I saw that shit, and I just passed out.
It's disgusting. I don't blame you.
Disgusting? Then why are you laying in it?
It's not me. It's some sort of free character called Farts a Lot.
Is your cat in the shit mountain?
Probably. Poor thing.
I don't have a cat.
Gary.
You know what I just noticed? The way that you're just clenching your fists, like it really shows the force in which you're attempting to fart.
Well, I guess if Farts a Lot's power is to fart, he would want to fart harder towards Captain Khalees to, I guess, hurt him.
And yet you would look like you wouldn't be so troubled and concerned by it, as you obviously are in this picture. Like, I see the pains of Farts a Lot there, and I feel like it's not even his fault. You know, it's the fault of his diet.
You know what's something else I think is great about this comic is what people from Montreal would think when they see Captain Khalees.
Yeah, what does your name mean in up there?
It means fuck. It's Kalas, and it means fuck. And when we went to a party, the people stopped me. Gail, me, and Chris thought we weren't going to get in. And then 3 people started giggling and saying, we didn't think your name was real. We thought it was a joke. And then my credit card kept getting grabbed by waitresses and bartenders. Every year we go to Montreal, and they just laugh at my name and say, your name is literally Vito Fuck.
Good.
All right, I want to read some of these things. People are already writing in this. AJ Winter said, why are we being lied to? This isn't a drawing of Chris Stanley. They just put an actual picture of him.
No.
I could see how you think that.
Chris says this, super shit Stanley. Aj says, is that where the yeast comes from? Chris?
Ew.
No, yeast doesn't come from shits and farts.
Liz says Chris's T-Rex arms are spot on. I didn't even notice how tiny your arms are. And
Yeah.
then the Queen says the flies around Chris's ass is a nice touch, and then she gives it 2 thumbs up. And she's not easy. You know, she's not an
No.
easy judge.
No, she's not. Tough but fair.
I don't like that. All right, so say Fartslot's a supervillain of some sort, a criminal mastermind, maybe. Why would he just have a small, like, robber mask around his eyes? Everyone can obviously know who he is. That's not helping anything.
Well, we only know who he is from the farts. I mean, you're not going to be able to cover that up.
I'm a captain. You're just a civilian. Your civilian farts a lot.
Remember when he tried to act like he was a knight?
Yeah, that was embarrassing.
Like the Queen is going to be so excited about a guy who farts that she calls him in and knights him? That's never going to happen.
I don't like my gut rubbing around in the shit. That's really off-putting to me.
You should try to join the movement that Jenny Hutt has. She could have you losing weight in no time.
Really? I don't know about that.
She also says that people should be easy on themselves during this time. You know, coronavirus and all that. If you gain some weight, so what?
Who cares?
All right. I like that. I like that angle.
All right. What do you say we take a break, kids? We'll be back with Captain Khalees and Farts a Lot. It's the Bennington Show.
103, it's the Bennington Show.
Is that cashmere?
I serve a dish. I serve a dish. I serve a dish. I serve a dish.
It's Cashmere. Every Wednesday we like to dish, and you can follow Cashmere at Cashmere Danny. Read his new column, Social Distancing Dispatches, at theibang.com. And your next guest is Dan Perlman. Hey, Cashmere.
Hey, how you guys doing?
First of all, Kashmir, I didn't even know that we were doing this till today, but you put up your own picture rather, than having us take it to the studio. It's my favorite picture of you yet. It looks fantastic. Did you see this, Gail?
You.
He's such a beauty.
And also, really, just a stunning picture, selfie that Jessica Pilate did with herself with her kerchief on. And this is supposed, I'm really, Gail, you do this a lot too. I'm starting to find these things to be just make women look great.
Yeah, the mask does. You can do a lot of fun winged eyeliner. You know what I mean? Now you get to be very expressive with the eyes.
Yeah,
and it's like
working.
Sunglasses too. You can cover up a part of yourself. You're like, you know what? No, I look great behind the mask. You don't have to know what's actually going on.
Well, Kashmir, you're here today. I can't believe that you've locked in something to do with Dan Perlman. You can't beat that. I mean, that's a big get. You know that from Page 6. Are you still doing your Page 6 works during these troubled times?
Yes, the celebrities have not stopped. If anything, they've gotten crazier, and it's been more intense to watch them. We're watching them more on TikTok now. We're stalking all the celebrities and just kind of seeing. Now it's not so much like looking out for the stories. The stories are now just coming to us and everybody because they're just going live on Instagram and ruining their careers Basically.
Everybody is. Have you noticed that, Gail? Everybody is mad at celebrities right now.
Yes.
Ellen. I guess you have that story, right, Kashmir? They went off on Ellen today.
Yeah, so usually it's the celebrities going on Instagram Live saying something wrong, but Ellen started broadcasting from her home, aka mansion, doing her live daytime talk show, and she compared it to jail, and everyone kind of just let her have it because obviously it's different being quarantined in a studio apartment versus a LA mansion with Portia Del Rossi and like an entire sous chef. So people aren't really loving her comparison to jail.
Right.
You know,
And then
most
she also
prisons don't have infinity pools, so you know, there's that.
She also got everybody mad because, you know, because it's like jail because everyone is gay, is what she said. And now people are like, hey, everyone in jail isn't gay. We're tired of the stereotype. They're just having sex with each other until they leave jail.
Right. It's like very
Jail
like I don't
gay
know
is
if maybe
different.
she just assumes she saw Tiger Joe Exotics in jail, so she's connecting those dots. But yeah, it's sort of like Ellen. That's a stereotype, and also kind of touches on parts of jail that not everyone is consensual with there. So it's not really
Exactly.
LOL about it.
Yeah.
And it's funny too because that came just last week. There was an entire Twitter thread going on about trying to expose Ellen as being like mean and not this sweetheart everybody paints her out to be. So it's sort of like this isn't helping her public persona, but I don't think Ellen really cares about her public persona at all.
All right, here's what they also said. Every day, right, somebody on the staff is in the bucket. Somebody's in trouble. And I'm like, that's been every show I've ever been to, and it's one of the reasons why we keep Earl. You know what I mean? Like, it's good to have that guy that everybody can turn to and be like, God damn it. You know what I mean? Like, it helps you blow off some steam.
You always need somebody in the hot seat.
Yeah.
Exactly. And it's also funny, too, because there'd be people like, oh, I went to Ellen's show once and she didn't wave, she didn't shake my hand. It's like, well, she's also big. Like, I feel like there's a lot of different levels to every part of a story where it's like, whenever someone has a horror celebrity story, when they're like, I sat next to them at brunch and they didn't have a 20-minute conversation with me, and like, well, they're just eating, so let them live their life and kind of course correct.
There's also something that she had outside of her office, and it's like a thing of gum because she doesn't want anybody to have stank breath. And she's like, chew up some fucking gum before you come into my office and talk to me. And and then, but you know, remember when Steve Harvey had passed that thing around to all the people, like you weren't allowed to look at him if you worked there, and you weren't allowed to pitch him ideas or get his attention at all.
Right.
You had to kind of look at your feet.
I mean, I think that this is what the truth is. So a lot of times we're like, God, these people in power are terrible or celebrities are awful. And it's just honestly like you just get to a place where all the things you think on the inside, you're confident enough to put on the outside. So I think most people, if put in the position of power and celebrity and have this much pull, would probably be similar to that.
Sure. I forget who said it. I think what Bill Murray said, you get 2 years to be an asshole if you get famous. You can't, you know what I mean? You get 2 years that you're going to be the obnoxious asshole, and then you got to pull it back and start being normal, you know?
Right.
But
I like that. And, well, you know who is just at the beginning of being famous, so I don't think they're going to do that, is Joe Exotic. Are we still loving him so much?
You know, we just find out more and more, and I guess they're doing an extra episode now.
They're doing an extra episode, and it's going to be on ID, so Investigative Discovery, about Carol Baskin and Joe Exotic, because that's what his staff gave an exclusive to people and let them know that Carol Baskin is the reason why Joe started to spiral and became the person that we more so saw on the documentary, which I believe. But then they're like, he would wake up and think about her and go to sleep and think of her, and it would be no in between at all.
Yeah, I'm really against of having an enemy. You know what I mean? Like, my point is always, if you have somebody that you don't like, just put them out of your life. Some people need to get up and have a fight every day. And that's what makes you kind of a fucked up negative person, because all you do is want to have a fight.
I don't have the energy for it. Like, I think that I could imagine, like, I can be momentarily mad. And then, like, 15 minutes later, I'm like, do you want to go get some food, or what do you want to do? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the people who can just put in that much energy of, like, I hate this person and this is my sole mission in life is to see bad things happen for them.
But can you be a Captain Khalees if you don't have a farts a lot?
True. That is very true.
I'm very curious to see what goes on with Joe Exotic because I feel like he's such an interesting person. But by the time, if he even does get released from jail, we're all going to be a little over him. So I don't know what he's going to cling to. But I know.
And to be honest, I've seen a lot of people, you know, kind of with a lot of Carol Baskin hate. Like Joe Exotic is hilarious, but Carol Baskin is terrible and she's a murderer. But just like you just said, I don't think he would be who he was without her. And that's the interesting part, too. You know what I mean? The part that's like crazy and funny, I don't think he would have had that if not for her. So we should be thanking her.
And also, she whipped his ass in every single way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He lost everything, including his freedom. So she's the big winner. Whatever you think of her, she killed her husband, and she's basically killed Joe Exotic.
Yeah. And he couldn't even get away with murder.
Right?
No,
and she's doing it left
He didn't
and
even
right, just biking
the murder
around.
didn't even happen.
Right.
And, well, someone who isn't necessarily murdering, but I kind of feel like they're murdering their career while quarantined is Tori Spelling, whose name I don't think about a lot. And usually when I do, it's about when she burned herself at hibachi, which is one of my favorite news stories ever. But she is in hot water this week because a lot of celebrities are donating money to charities, healthcare providers, and things like that. But she decided instead of that to charge people $100 for a virtual meet and greet.
A virtual meet and greet, not even a real one.
Right. We can't do those anymore, so. Oh, my God.
No, here's the other side of it, though. No one's being forced to give her $100. You have to sign up. What kind of fucking idiot wants a virtual meet and greet with anybody, let alone her?
That's what I don't get, too, because it's sort of a thing where it's like, that's just an uncomfortable FaceTime no one really wants to have happen.
No. I'd say if they didn't blow their money there, it'd be somewhere else. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I just love, because it came after she got in trouble homeschooling her kid and then got in trouble with like a toilet paper shortage. So I don't know. Tori Spelling didn't really go into quarantine with a career, but I really don't think she'll be leaving with one, or maybe a completely different one.
Now, I know what her dad was, but why did she get famous? What did she do?
He put her in shows.
She was on, and she was on 90210, I believe.
Okay. All right. That was a big show.
Yeah.
You make me wish my
And then
dish.
I feel like, well, also my favorite thing, because now, because of that, I started going down a Tori Spelling spiral, a spelling spiral, I'm calling it. And I think she's one of those celebrities who writes on their own Wikipedia page, because all it said on her Wikipedia page after all of her like filmography and stuff like that, Tori is also a notable singer with no citation or nothing. And I'm just like, good for her keeping this going.
The funny thing is, I was just thinking about her last night because I just rewatched the movie Scream. I haven't seen it in a million years, and we watched it last night. And in it, she's like, oh, like if they make a movie out of this with my luck, they'll probably cast Tori Spelling. And then I was like, oh, and then I think in Scream 2, they make a reference to they made a movie of it, and Tori Spelling had enough of a sense of humor to actually be in that, which is pretty cute.
Well, and it also was a hit movie, and who wouldn't have enough of a sense of humor? Those movies are literally, that's smart comedy to me, those Scream movies. They're really fucking funny.
It was so good. When I rewatched it, I forgot. Well, I mean, like I was talking to my husband because I think it was like one of those things on Twitter that people have been doing where it's like, here's 6 things, pick 3 of the best. And it was the best horror movie villains. And I was like, Ghostface, hands down. Like that whole movie, and I don't like the genre, was great. I thought that they did it so well.
Are you telling me you didn't like I Know What You Did Last Summer?
I loved the book, but I did read the book in middle school before the movie came out.
Did you really? I heard the writer of the book was furious.
Yeah, it was much scarier.
And I want to say one of the most, I feel like Scream did a really recent one with like Emma Roberts that didn't totally captivate me as much as the earlier ones. But I
didn't know that.
I think it was
me either.
Scream that did. I want to say it was like Emma Roberts and Hayden Panettiere were in it. And it was like, it's shown on MTV a lot, which probably.
I hate to be catty, but you know what? It's Dish, so I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't care for that Emma Roberts. I just don't. That's all.
Wow, that is catty.
That, but
I know
don't
the
care
most
for
interesting thing she did was fight her boyfriend and get her almost arrested for it.
Oh yeah.
No role.
And that little boy's an angel. It really made me sad. I wanted him to run from her.
This is the thing for Emma Roberts. She was raised by a man who only had one thumb, so her life was difficult.
And then, of course, politics. I mean, are in the news in a lot, and I'm not going to keep it that political, but a funny thing, Hillary Clinton apparently turned down Michael Moore's comedy all-star team's help for the debates. He wanted Amy Schumer, Chris Rock, and Bill Maher to help write jokes for her to go against President Trump in the debates, and she turned them down.
Smart.
Yeah, that was a good move.
First of all, I would stay as far away from Bill what is his name? Michael Moore as I fucking possibly could. He is a fucking pain in the... You've been hanging around too long, dude. Too fucking long. It's done. Go do something else with your fucking talents. You're not a political person. You stink at it.
Yeah. And I'm not even going to begrudge his filmmaking, but it's the political personality that makes it harder and harder to deal with him.
The films aren't good, but the fucking politics is way worse and it's way stupider.
Yeah, exactly.
And my favorite, when he was talking about this, he was like, I didn't want to do it for credit or money. I just wanted to help out her campaign. And now I like that he's now talking about it freely, I guess, because the time has passed. But it's sort of like he's just inserting himself into all of these stories, too, it seems.
Of course he does. That's all he ever fucking does.
And someone who else is inserting themselves into news today, Farrah Abraham, who's known from Teen Mom, so Heart of Gold. She was kind of one of the breakout ones. Yeah. She is calling Bill Gates, quote unquote, Hitler for because she's convinced that he is created the Wuhan virus.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
It was made off a fucking laptop, you nut.
Yeah. I normally go to her for things like this, so.
Yeah.
Well, interestingly enough, she did write for Hillary Clinton's campaign. She was the one.
Yes.
Hillary was like, this girl knows her fingers on the pulse right now.
I think it's time that we redub her, and she should be Quarantine Mom. That's where I'm going with this.
Now, that is a TV show that has to go on after Scream 4 with Emma Roberts on MTV. And then this story, it was all over Twitter, and I feel like you guys might have seen it. Kristen Cavallari from The Hills. Have we seen that she was quarantined for 3 weeks in the Bahamas?
Oh,
no, I did
nice.
not see that.
So everyone, I know, I'm like, that's a nice situation to be in. But she kept on posting all these photos just at the beach having margaritas, being like, ugh, another day. And people are like, aren't you supposed to be home right now? And it kept on building up. And she was like, and then her excuse was, well, everywhere's a mess. I might as well be at a place where I can vacation. And I was like, well, you know what, Kristen, I'll let you have that.
Yeah.
This whole thing is
finally gotten it. Yeah, that's my favorite part. She's like, I might as well get tan if everything's falling apart.
All that's fun until you get the fucking bug, and then you got to go to a Bahamas hospital. You know what I mean? And they're just giving you rum and cokes until you feel better.
She's like, what's going on? And everyone is jealous because she was vacationing with her hairstylist, too. So she was looking very glamorous throughout it all, of course.
Oh, my God. You know what my favorite dish of the week was? Favorite dish of the week was, and you've seen a lot of celebrities who have been doing, more social media stuff and doing silly challenges and stuff. But that would be Kashmir picking it up right after Jake Gyllenhaal and doing his wine wall challenge was maybe one of my favorite things.
Great balance and great upper body strength.
Yeah.
I shocked myself.
I watched it so many times that I actually watched it more than the Jake Gyllenhaal one. And if you know me, that's amazing because I watched that one a couple times.
Yeah.
I will take that Donnie Darko win. I know. I'm shocked I didn't break a leg or a wine glass after that. But I was like, it was like a good like a HIIT class. It was an at-home workout that I guess I can implement into my life.
You're one of those people that could have gymnastic sex, and that's a very rare breed.
I know. Well, Stick It was a very formative film for me. I felt
Sure.
like when I saw that movie, I was like, that's what I want to be. I got derailed from the gymnastic standpoint, but I feel like there's still a chance.
I think you can do it.
I mean, here's hoping. And you know who else was hopeful? And it paid off? Gisele Bündchen, who I kind of look to as a contemporary. Me and her have a lot in common. But she had issues with Tom Brady because she felt that he wasn't satisfying her enough in their marriage. And not in terms of, right?
Harsh.
And not even in terms of like sex and things like that. She felt that he was always on the clock and always working. And she apparently is someone who really likes to heal themselves with relaxation and meditation, and he wasn't appreciating or on her journey for that.
I feel like he would not be a great conversationalist. So it's definitely lacking in that way.
Look, Giselle, you married a dope. You know what I mean? He's very talented at football and in a zilch and everything else.
There's a reason they're so happy that they're going to be living very far apart from each other for a while.
Yeah, I don't get her.
No,
Yeah.
I don't either. And all I can think about with him is that video of when he was like kissing his kids when they were when he was like getting massage before a game or something like that, and it's imprinted.
I mean, no one can forget that moment. And no judgment. It's not even that he kissed his son on the mouth. It was that he asked for his son to kiss him, and then he said to tell him it wasn't good enough. Come on, that was just a peck. Tom, that's all it should have been. That's all it should have been. He made him go back in for a softer, wetter kiss. So, you know what I mean? He really doubled down with the uncomfortability there.
If he was saying that to Giselle, maybe she would have been more satisfied in the marriage.
No.
That's just, I know it's one of those things where I'm like, what do you want when like a supermodel marries a football player? It's sort of like, what do you want out of this relationship? Because you have a lot of boxes checked, but you don't get to have the entire bingo card going on for yourself. You don't get to have conversations on top of that.
You married a guy who said to his son, "Come on, that was just a pecker." That is horrible.
Too far, Tom.
Yeah, too far.
And someone who I'm wondering might be going too far is Alanis Morissette. And Gail, I'll defer to you because you currently are quarantined with children, with a child.
Okay.
She is focusing on unschooling, which is child-led education. So she says that she's not gonna. She wants to learn. She wants them to learn the way they want to learn. So if they're supposed to learn math, but they want to play with glitter, that's what they're doing.
I think a lot of us are unschooling, but not by choice. You know what I mean? What you're saying is my kid is in charge, and I get it, Alanis. I get it. It's not worth the battle. I mean, don't act like as though it's just like some concept you came up with. The idea is this is impossible, so we're just not doing it.
I do like how she reframes not being able to like teach her child to be like, no, I'm just, I'm letting them beat at their own drum.
I haven't heard from one parent who's saying, and it doesn't matter the age of the kid. It doesn't matter if you have a very small kid to, that the idea of this is impossible.
Look, she's 38 and she doesn't understand fractions. Just fucking admit it. That's all. I don't get it. How could there be 5/4 of something? That's more than 100. No, it can't be done.
She's just like, shut it all down. Let's just bootleg Jagged Little Pill from Broadway and make it work.
Oh, love it.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh, it's right. I know.
I wish
feel
I
like
could have seen it.
I wanted to see it too, but I feel like I don't even know when we're being able to see all of those again. Did you see
Jagged
Promo
Little
today
Pill
saying
tour, by
that-
the way, my first concert.
Ooh.
Yeah, I was obsessed with Alanis.
I'm pretty sure she was going to be touring with Liz Phair this summer, and I was like, oh, so about that. But I feel like
that
it
would have
might
been
be
great.
put on pause. It would have been great. A little Exile in Guyville. Ugh.
Gail, that was your first concert, and she only had one album out, and you saw her in a fucking stadium. That's how big that fucking album exploded. She played a stadium on her freshman album.
And
Yeah,
it's one of
she
those
just
things,
played
if
every
you
song
see her
from the
now,
album, which was great.
It's probably the same set list.
Yeah, it's the same set list that you see her at the fucking coffee house.
But
You're at the winery downtown.
She's so great. I feel like she's one of the ones where like Canadian done right, where she is always well behaved and just so sweet that you just kind of like her for anything she does. And some of her contemporaries don't totally have that, like Justin Bieber, another Canadian export that we're currently dealing with here in the States. And people are now
their
thinking,
bad boy.
the Beeb Hive is very excited that there might be more nude Justin Bieber pictures coming around. So
like this is like ones that he didn't pose for kind of situation. This is paparazzi
so
ones.
Little paparazzi ones. And it's one of those things, I feel like at this point, like, I feel like we've almost reached our, like, limit of, like, nude celebrity photos. I'm, like, good on all those fronts, especially for, like, Justin Bieber, just because he's so, like, granola with, like, peanut butter that you're trying to stir in. Like, that's his body type. It's just kind of, like gangly and stuff like that. I don't really need to see that uncovered.
I've seen this picture, though. You guys are going to want to see it. He's peeing in his own mouth. He pees up in the air, and then he's catching it like it's a water fountain. It's pretty good.
Well, you know, if we're adding that kind of drama, sure. If you got a new spin on a celebrity nude, I'm going to check it out.
It's Art Deco. I'm glad that gymnastics can be used in a lot of different ways. Maybe he's starting that to be his own challenge. My favorite, I feel like it's a miss, right? It's a missed opportunity because him and Haley Baldwin Bieber could have been the new Newlyweds reality show if we were filming them quarantined right now.
Smart.
Watching their
that would have been great.
And everything like that, right? I feel like it would have been very Jessica Simpson, Nick Lachey.
And then when her dad came over, it'd been fucking fantastic.
Oh, right.
The only difference is it would have been two Jessica Simpsons instead of.
Yeah, that's right. Two dummies.
That's true. They would have been. They both would have just agreed that, or they would never figure out if it was chicken or fish. That's a question that would have thrown Justin and Haley in a loop for a while. And he also had to. I wonder if he's happy-ish too, because his stadium tour kept on getting reduced venues because no one is buying tickets, and now they've just canceled it due to everything being canceled. But I was like, all right, Justin, you kind of lucked out that you don't have to admit the fact that no one really cares about your music anymore.
He needs to take some time off and make it back for nostalgia time when all those little girls are, in their late 30s and they have kids and they want to get out night to go back and remember when they were younger. That's always great. But that awkward time that takes place in between the actual fame and the nostalgia is terrible.
Right.
Because right now it's just, he's just still doing the same music that he was doing, but everyone kind of expects him to grow as a performer versus they just, in 10 years, they'll want him just to do all the old songs that they liked. Like NSYNC is doing Zoom happy hours now. That's what he just needs to wait it out for that to thrive. And Bruce Willis and Demi Moore, they're quarantining together. And they're having the time of their life, it seems. Bruce apparently buzz cut Tallulah's hair, which is sort of, and I will say she pulls off the buzzed haircut very well, but she promoted it with a nude photo of herself covering all the parts, of course. But I was just kind of laughing. I was like, did Bruce also then take that? What is going on here?
I think like he's with his ex-wife and he's brought his now wife. They're sophisticated. These people, they're very, very sophisticated.
It's very cosmopolitan.
I know, very, and I guess it's one of those things. It's easier when each level of your house is technically its own house, I guess. But still, the quarters get tight, and I kind of like too that it comes after Demi's bombshell book that she put out. So it's sort of like a whole Demi. Like I just want them to be like reading chapters from that all the time, like by a fire. Just because I feel like Demi has kind of refound herself and is sort of like, yeah, come to my house to quarantine. We'll shave some heads.
Yeah, and we'll talk about how much we all hate Ashton Kutcher.
I would love if the next week they're just prank calling Ashton and Mila, just being like, yeah, because that's a couple too. I'm sort of over them, and I was shocked too that he's not involved in the Quibi Punked, which I guess is just because maybe Quibi and Ashton weren't seeing eye to eye for it.
Yeah, what happened there? I just assumed like that Punked was his jam, but I guess not.
I know. Well, I think Quibi, because every time, like I haven't downloaded it yet, but I was looking at the shows on it, and Punked is hosted by Chance the Rapper, who I like his music, but I don't get why it's just like a big celebrity doing something for 3 minutes, and then like that's the show. So I don't know. I guess like maybe they just wanted to have Chance the Rapper fans join in for something like that.
Here's what you need to do. Turn over that sound hourglass for fucking Quibi. It's not going to last long.
No. And it's perfect. It's like the hysterical timing that they were like, in this day-to-day world where everyone's running place to place, you're commuting, just watch 8 minutes of something. And it's like I'm rewatching Desperate Housewives because I need something to be over an hour long to pass the time. So I'm not downloading something to watch 5 minutes of Chrissy Teigen wearing a judge outfit.
No thanks.
Like, no thank you. And who else got a no thank you is R. Kelly. He lost the bid to leave jail amid the coronavirus pandemic. This was a big thing. Every celebrity who has been arrested is trying to say, but I don't want to die in here. And then it's sort of like, well, you shouldn't have committed all the crimes that you committed to get there in the first place.
I just sent R. Kelly something. It's a picture of Justin Bieber peeing in his own mouth. I think
He's gonna love that.
Yeah, I think he's going to get a big kick out of it.
I think, it'll pass the time. It'll make it'll be fun for him.
Yeah.
He just tears up. This reminds me of home.
Oh, yeah. Home is where, Justin Bieber's shaft is. That's what Haley's saying. That's their TJ
Sweet
pillow. Yeah, it's sweet. It honestly, it's kind of, it's like Hallmark Channel-ish. And Rosie O'Donnell, who I don't know how she kind of, because I know she's been at the forefront of the news a little bit because she's doing the live streaming charity thing. She talked to Howard Stern and let him know about how much Whoopi hated her, which I always was surprised about because I thought when Rosie also was too, she thought they would be buddy-buddy. But from day one, apparently Whoopi just had it out for her. And she would
they
be doing
seem like
things
the two that would get along.
Right, kind of like Laverne and Shirley-ish or something like that. But Rosie, apparently, Whoopi didn't like how she signaled to cut to break. And then from there, Whoopi just was kind of like, you're not like taking the show seriously because Whoopi is sort of like the captain of that ship that is also known as the Titanic, I guess, The View. And she kind of felt that Rosie wasn't paying her due respect for it.
Whoopi is miscast on that show. She doesn't know how to throw it to break. She doesn't know how to come back from break. She doesn't know how to set the table. She should be sitting on the end doing fucking funny sniper lines like, the way she came into this business. But she's not a broadcaster. She stinks at it.
And it seems like Rosie, just having done even her own talk show, I think Rosie probably would be better in that role, don't you? Don't you think she would have been better?
I definitely would think so, but at the end of the day, has anyone ever worked with Rosie and not fucking hated her, though? You know what I mean? Like, after a couple hundred times. Yes.
It's one of the, and it's so, I don't know how they pick who goes on that show, because it's always it's like the Island of Misfit Toys from that Christmas movie, where it's just sort of like, who knows what they're doing here and what should be done? Because you do have those like trained traditional broadcasters that they get from like ABC News or something like that just are kind of stuck in a middle chair trying to like say points about how they like how they like to parent in between Whoopi shouting about cutting the break or not taking something seriously. So it's entertaining to watch, but not for why they think it is, I think.
You know, there's a book out that they sent to us. We had somebody come in. Everyone who's ever done that show says it's just stressful and terrible, and none of them enjoy it. And I'm like, this should be the funnest show in the world to do. You know? Don't fucking set up what everybody's supposed to say. Just let them say crazy shit.
Right.
Because it should just be like a fun little brunch table, but instead it's very like they try to make it like you're almost in like the army. They have draft plans of topics and stuff like that don't mesh with what they're talking about. Because that's what happens with Whoopi so much. They make her talk about something she thinks she's too high up to talk about, and then kind of just throws it away, and no one else gets to talk about it.
The worst part of the show is that a person will come in to be interviewed, and they each have a question on the card that they fucking read to that. And you're just like, why don't you all just hand them your cards? Yeah, hand them your cards, because they're not your fucking questions.
Yeah, exactly. Like, just like, my writer wrote this one for me.
That's, oh my gosh. It's one of those shows you just go back. Like, there are so many times I'll just stop my day and watch, like, the View explosive fights that go on, and just because that's like, those are it should just be its own reality show versus, because exactly, they're not interviewing people in a great way. They're not discussing any topics of the news in a great way. They're just really good at shouting at each other. So I feel like if they just honed in on that and reframed it, put it on Bravo or something, Meghan McCain could be a little better off.
Yeah, Meghan McCain looks like every day of her life is a fucking nightmare.
I know. She looks so stressed. Like, sometimes if you watch, you can see, like, you know, when you have extreme stress and your eyeball starts to shake, you know what I mean? Like, I can see that in her.
By the way, none of you are switching anyone's vote. You're doing a fucking TV show. You're not really political people. It doesn't matter whether you're for abortion or against it. Just be entertaining.
No, exactly. And then my favorite is because now they're all doing it remote, looking at their little like faces in the Zoom and like the Skype boxes. Meghan McCain just still looks so flustered sitting in her like office chair trying to like scream at everyone, and they're just not paying attention to her. It's like a sad Brady Bunch. And the final dish is that Jennifer Aniston, because now that she's on Instagram, she has been on for a little bit, is now taking an interest in watching her ex John Mayer's Instagram lives, because John Mayer's big thing is that he's a funny guy who likes to go live on Instagram. So now Jennifer Aniston is interacting with him on that. So, I mean, it is at that point of quarantine where you're just texting exes desperate for any validation or human contact. So I don't blame her, but.
Well, I just want to see Jessica Simpson show up in that room. In one of those Zoom, what do they call it, Gail? Zoom attacks? Zoom?
Yes.
Zoom bombing. Yes, the Zoom attacks. Where people just break in because apparently that software isn't protected.
You're the best, buddy. And it's great to talk to you. Glad you're still with Page 6. And we'll see you again next week. The one and only Cashmere, Gail.
And I love that we always know that it's Wednesday. You know what I mean? You need those little things to remind you.
I had no idea whatsoever that it was Wednesday. Why don't we take a break here? We're going to be right back with a lot more Bennington.
Faction Talk 103, it's the Bennington Show.
I'm the voice on the radio. 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 It's just one me. I was a head. I give the news and I put on a show.
Yeah. Bennington show. And we are back. Mother Leeds Band sounded fantastic. That song actually drops on Friday, Vito.
Yes, I don't have the information in front of me.
It's okay. Connor Bracken and the Mother Leeds Band, and Voice on the Radio is going to be available on Spotify this Friday.
This Friday. Great fucking song. Very, very proud of Connor. And our kid just keeps rocking. You got to give him that. He just keeps rocking. Like you said, I would not know that it was a Wednesday without Kashmir being here. And I also never know the difference between, let's say, 6 o'clock at night and 6 o'clock in the morning. They all feel the same now.
What's the difference? It really doesn't matter. We're making up time.
Yeah. Time is really a construct now more than ever. But honestly, I'm not even kidding you. I think we're all doing better with this than we thought we were going to do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I especially think we were doing better than we thought because I just thought people wouldn't do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I thought that more people than not would just go, yeah, I'm not going to be quarantined. It's not happening.
Look,
so I'm impressed.
You know, people got mad at Ellen when she said it's like jail. But very early on, I'm like, well, people can do jail. You know what I mean? Like, people are able to pull that off. And this is a lot more comfortable than jail. So, you know, this is doable. But I have to say, I don't know whether you ever went and saw somebody at jail and went, oh, man, they kind of look bad. It looks like it's getting to them. I look that way now. I look like I've been stuck inside.
Last night, I was feeling sick, and I looked in the mirror, and I was like, do I look sick, or this is just how I look now? Like, is this a sickly look, or this is just I've been inside many weeks?
I'm not even sure whether I'm going to be fit to see fucking humans again. I'm going to be like, I'm hideous. Don't look at me. I'm hideous. What we need is a bit of positivity in our life. And, man, we got the guy for that. It's one of our favorite people in the whole world. He's out in Los Angeles now. But a Philly boy, born and bred, Mr. Jimmy Schubert. Jimmy Schubert.
Hey, guys. How are you, man?
Hey, Jimmy.
Listen to him. Listen how good he sounds, Gail.
He sounds great.
He sounds fantastic.
Well, you know, had I thought this through, Ronnie, I would have not gone into comedy. I would have been one of those sign language interpreters. Those guys seem to be cleaning up right now. You know, you got the guys at the city level, the state level, and you got the sign language guys at the federal level. They're the A-room headliners. Those people are very expressive. I was watching. I said to my brother, I said, have you seen the crazy faces these people make? He goes, yeah, you would too if your fingers were full of shit. You know, you had to, do that sign language thing. But they're very, I got new respect.
Yeah, and I didn't realize that, but yeah, you move up a lot. And I knew somebody who did that for a living, and they only went to courthouses. And they would get the call, all right, we have a deaf person. And then they're fucking working constantly. I go, what kind of trouble did deaf people get into? You know what I mean? But apparently they're like a minority. You know what I mean? Like they got a fucking chip on their shoulder.
Yeah, well, I had a shop teacher in high school who was missing 2 fingers, and he wanted to switch and go into that line of work, but he's a couple digits short, giving him shorthand over there. But yeah, I know. They're, you don't realize it until you see them everywhere. You go, oh, this is like, this is like being, a referee. They got these little niche things where people are able to do that. I'm, very impressed.
Now, what's your quarantine like? Who are you with? What are you doing? What's your day? Your day like?
Ronnie, I'm doing the quarantine in a hole, as they like to say in prison. I'm in solitary. I got no human contact besides I look out my window and see people like kind of walking the street. I'm trying to stay positive, and I'm trying to get stuff done. I've redecorated my apartment like 3 times. I mean, Jesus, you can only jerk off so much. You know what I'm saying? Last time I sported knee cartilage came out. I'm over here like Migs from Silence of the Lambs. I got to slow down. I got to go on walks, try to do some journaling, or try to meditate. Try to pace myself. This is, I mean, it's just lockdown, dude. The whole thing, like, you think, man, like, just one day is like, boom, you can no longer go entertain people. You can't play live music for people. It's kind of crazy. But this isn't the first pandemic. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, you've been in for a month. What's the last time that you took a month off stand-up? Because you work steady and have for years. Do you even remember the last time you took a month off?
No, I've never. I take 2 weeks off. My timing's a little off. I mean, I love doing it. I love making people laugh. It's just, but it's, I don't even know if we come out of this if people actually start to socialize again. I don't know what happens. I mean, we've only been quarantined for like a couple of weeks where we've been on lockdown, for God's sake. You figure people would catch up on stuff, Like, people are shaving like the bat signal into his chest hair and dyeing his hair blue. You hear about Tony Esposito? He sucked a dick. What, is he gay? No, he was bored. He was in quarantine. I mean, can we stop with it? Everybody turns into Weird Al Yankovic, for Christ's sake. You're in your fucking living room fucking playing your fucking mandolin, doing song parodies. I'm in the middle of a fucking pandemic here. Lock it down. Jesus.
Yeah, lock it down. You're right.
Can we stop with the fucking virtual comedy shows, for Christ's sakes? I've seen the guy on a Saturday night in a packed comedy club. He went down like an Iraqi fighter pilot. What makes you think you're going to be any funnier in your living room with the fucking nobody there? It's okay for some of these people to just wonder what you're thinking sometimes. Not everybody's going to fucking weigh in on fucking everything. Karen on Facebook's a disease on an expert on infectious diseases now. People, calm down. They fucking, everybody wants, people bought toilet paper. Like, this is your biggest worry in the middle of a fucking pandemic? You don't want your underwear looking like a high school parking lot? I'm sorry. I just had too much coffee. I got to calm down.
Here's the thing, Shuby. You could do those Zoom shows. You're exactly as funny. You know what I mean? Like, this is working. Go book yourself on Zoom shows.
Yeah, I can. No, I will. I'm just actually, as comedians, like, you travel all the time. So this mandatory shutdown, I mean, not having to jump on a plane for a couple months is kind of nice, actually. You know what I mean?
But aren't you surprised that you didn't get it from all the travel that you did and all the people and all the fucking hands you've been shaking?
Yeah, but I'm already OCD. I always carry a little jar of Prel in my hands. Christ, I masturbate with the hand sanitizer. I'm not taking any chances. But when I was flying, I had the mask and the goggles because I had to go to South Korea. Believe it or not, I had to go over to South Korea on March 2nd to the 9th. So I was working on this thing called, I know, but over there, everybody wears masks. If we would do that in this country, if everybody would just wear the mask and shut up and wear it for a month, the thing would go away. And we could all get back to normal a little bit, I think. But
here's the deal that, and this has come up, Americans don't like to be told what to do. We're contrarians. So if someone said, put on a mask or don't, a lot of people just go, fuck you. I don't even believe in this,
Well, it's their choice. You can social distance 6 feet apart or you can wind up 6 feet under. I mean, do it. I mean, this is how you beat it. It needs people to travel. So if everybody just complies for 30 days, if we could all just suck it up for 30 days, it might go away. I mean, Jesus, you think about this, this Nostradamus, didn't he? Someone said he fucking predicted this. When are they going to start listening to this guy? He's like fucking 10 for 10. In the twin year, a great plague will come. A great plague will come. Why are you people listening to this fucking guy? He's on it. He predicted World War I, World War II, fucking Hitler, who we call Hister. Or at least I hope he was talking about fucking Hitler. I hope there's not another guy coming named fucking Hister who's a fucking animal. I go, oh, Jesus. I hope he's right about that when he was just one letter off,
All right, so you're saying if we just would listen to Nostradamus, none of this would happen. We'd be fine.
Ronnie, how,
Yeah.
the guy's pretty dead on if you think about it.
Yeah.
I mean, he's, they're still making TV shows about the fucking guy and how great he was, but who knows?
Dude,
Who knows?
first of all, this shit to me is killing. You don't need an audience. I'm going to book you in Laugh Lounge tonight, get you out there. You don't need anybody. You can just look at the numbers count and feel good about yourself.
Well, let me tell you something, right? That's not so different. When we started doing stand-up, there weren't set up some punchlines like these kids have today. We actually had to jump in the audience and tickle people. People don't realize that's how we used to do it. So I guess it's going to change everything. I guess I'm going to have to get used to performing for my iPad.
Yeah.
Doing live videos. Jesus Christ.
I'll be like this. Hey, I'm not fucking following Schubert. He gets all those hearts. You know what I mean? I can't follow that many hearts.
I can't follow that many hearts. That's a lot of likes. I don't know.
Yeah, you got a ton of likes.
Jesus, I'm so fucking bored. I'm actually answering the phone when it says scam likely. I'm going, oh, fuck, I'm just talking to somebody. I don't give a shit. When it comes up and says scam likely, I'm going, I'm from Philly. That could be anybody. That could be my brother trying to talk me into a fucking pyramid scheme. Let me just answer this. This is going to be family. Scam likely.
It's going to be fucking Flathead. Dude, I got something very nice coming along.
I was just talking to Flats down there, just checking on him, making sure he's all right,
Yeah, I don't want him to get fucking corona of the foot. And the rest of his body will be fine.
How many fucking toes you got to lose? All right, this little piggy with the market. There's only 2 left. Knock it off. Jesus, no, but he's it's so bad, and he's he's being extra careful. I mean, he's got women that want to come over and co-quarantine with him.
Sure.
He's saying no. I go, yeah. That's when I started taking this thing seriously. When Flathead's turning down, Stinky on the side.
Yeah, I know. There's no Costa Rica. Yeah, there's no Costa Ricans coming in with a party package, dude. You got to come to Costa Rica with me. It's unbelievable.
Bro, he had the Filipino maid coming in to change his bandage. He's trying to. He's living the life of Riley down there. He got a little maid coming and changing his bandage.
This is the only time a bandage change ends with a happy ending. Dude, it was fucking perfect. For $6, she'll spend 3 days with you.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, and why would you feel special, huh? What'd she do before you came along, George, huh? Poor woman. Got a vagina that looks like Yogi Berra's catcher's mitt for Don Larson's perfect game in the 1956 World Series. Slow it down a little bit.
Yeah. Well, she's throwing heat. That's the fucking beauty of it. Now, now seriously, Jimmy Schubert on with us from L.A., one of the most funny fucking human beings ever, and Tim Dillon before there was a Tim Dillon. Now, Jimmy, what are you doing for your creativity? Are you writing? Are you planning on when this thing is over? Do you have? I know you're not doing Zoom, so what are you going to do?
Well, I'm first up. I'm working on this prison body. I'm doing one of my little workouts. I'm trying to get real flexible. I'm also doing a lot of writing. Catching up on a couple books I wanted to read. I'm reading the Forgotten Man, which is a new history on the Great Depression. A little light reading. And then just, I've been doing a lot of writing. This is kind of, I think when this is over, I think people are going to need to get together again. I think as a species, kind of, especially America, we take a lot of things for granted. You don't realize how amazing it is to live in this country and the things we take for granted so much. The conversations, the eye contact, the handshakes, the hugs. I mean, I don't think anybody's going to we got kind of complacent, where people are going down the street on frickin' hoverboards. They don't even got to lift their knees to walk. Left, right, too much for you to lift their knees. You're just going to lean your way around the planet, you lazy, shiftless fuck. I mean, we kind of let ourselves down a little bit. We need to, we need a sense of purpose. And I think that, maybe this is a reset button. Maybe this is, the air pollution is way down in Los Angeles. I think maybe it's just a hard reset for people to do a little introspection and to think about your life a little bit and think what's, the little things we all take for granted. It's you don't ever think it could go away, and it does,
It's really, really true that the small things in life, right, turn out to be the things that we miss the most. You know what I mean? No one misses a trip to Hawaii right now. What you miss is your friends, your family, all this shit that they told us was the most important stuff really is the most important stuff. And, just going out for a slice of pizza, a taco, having coffee with a buddy, whatever it happens to be, that's the stuff that we're kind of missing the most right now.
Yeah, I miss making people laugh, and I think when this is all over, I think people are going to really need to laugh again. I think this is, you have to realize there's a lot of people out there in a lot of different conditions. Some people don't have the skill set or the tools to cope like this, locked in a house, and people are, I think people need human contact. So I think hopefully they got the smartest minds in the world. People working on a cure for this and trying to get it over as soon as possible. So I'm saying my rosary every night. I'm praying for the people on the front lines. I'm praying for the EMTs, the doctors, the nurses, the heroes of this pandemic, the people go in there knowing their life is putting their life on the line. So I'm praying for those people. I'm trying to, be kinder and being polite to people and the little thing. We got so mean to each other. Everybody was so mean to each other. What you realize is that we're all connected in this giant human ecosphere called the planet Earth. And it's a species thing. It's not it's a species. We were fighting for the survival of the species here. And we should be a little nice to each other. It's just, I don't know. But I've been doing a lot of kind of going inside a little bit, doing a little introspection and thinking about, I joked about journaling, but I am. I'm writing down all the things I'm ever thankful for in my whole life. Since I'm a little kid, I've been thinking about a lot of that stuff. And, I feel like I grew up and, had one of the last traditional American childhoods where all this craziness didn't exist. I used to go to the library, read Encyclopedia Brown books, and I could ride my bike and we'd go, it's kind of normal. Now it's gotten all upside down a little bit, I think.
Well, I do think that we all realized that fucking shit was going in the wrong direction. Nobody, whether, the left, the right, nobody was saying, oh, man, we're on the right path right now. And there has been a sense of community missing. I think we all knew that. I think it's one of the reasons why we do love comedy clubs, because people decide with their laughter, you know what I mean? Together, this is what we like. And when it comes to having gratitude, I don't think I'm going to say that you were always grateful to be a regular at the Comedy Store, and you've done it for a long time, but I've always felt like you went in there to make sure that you killed and you realized the room that you were in every single time that you went up.
Absolutely, man. Absolutely. Is that was one of the things you used to when I'm lucky I knew what I wanted to do when I was younger. And so I was just even doing the magic was just a step closer to get me to performing at the Comedy Store. But to be a paid regular there, to have your name on the side of the building with all the greats to come down the, Ronnie, you know, when you go out, you do the Creeps with Kids show, it's just how much all those people come together and laugh. And that's such a great, probably experience. And people enjoy the hell out of that. That's what, that connects us, I think. That laughter connects us on a level that, and I always felt grateful to do it, and I think it's a gift. And I think if you can do it well and you can do it at a high level and make a living doing it, then, I think that's being successful, in comedy. You don't have to be, Dane Cook, nor does everybody want to be Dane Cook, but to be able to make a living doing something you love to do and to touch people. I used to have people come out of the crowd and just, grab your arm and go, thank you for that laugh. I needed it so much, So, yeah, I've never taken it for granted, and certainly not now, because, you don't even know what's going to be like when we come out of this.
Well, I certainly hope that all comes back because we really were at the peak. Like people were going to me, they were going, "Hey, was this like this in the '80s?" And I go, I think it's stronger now than it's ever been. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
There's so many fucking funny people when you go into a show. It's another reason why you can't drop your gloves if you're in any of these fucking, if you're at any of these clubs. You got to go in there and wail, man.
Yeah, I know. When we were little, and like when we were growing up, and you get in a fight with a guy who was like the toughest guy in the neighborhood, they call you a name robber. He took his name, he took his reputation. But that's what it's like at a comedy club. Everybody's bringing the A game every night.
Yeah, every night.
It's like, and so you got to constantly be writing and working, and it seems like a lot of people are producing their own stuff and putting their stuff out now. The game has changed a little bit. Sometimes it's online now, but there's nothing like a live comedy show. Nothing.
And look, when you're journaling tonight, right? I want you to write in your journal. I went on the Bennington show and I fucking destroyed because you did, buddy. I love you. Let's stay in touch, Jimmy. I know you got plenty of time. I'm going to check in with you from time to time, okay?
Absolutely, Ronnie. I love you guys. Be safe, man. I love you guys. Thanks for having me on. See you later, Gail. Bye.
Gail, I don't know whether you ran off with the baby there. I heard her getting a little restless.
I just turned the sound down because I didn't want her to. I didn't want her to name rob Jimmy. So
just name rob him. Is that uncomfortable with you to be there with your baby, knowing that your first crush is on the phone with us?
Yeah, I mean, in some ways, it's like this is what it could have been like. But then again, I guess the accent is the same, so I'm used to it.
He's over there, back we would ride our bikes, we'd ride our bikes. I'm saying my rosary. Holy shit. He came out like fucking guns blazing. He's so goddamn funny. Yeah.
He always has.
Yeah. That's why I said, like, fucking Schubert never took... he appreciated everything. If you follow him on Instagram, like his Instagram stories are filled with these, sayings and positive things. And some people do that because they're negative, but I really do think like Schubert is like about positivity. And then, he writes his brutal material, which is fucking great. But just one of the best, seriously, one of the best comics I've ever seen in my life. Very few people can make me laugh I feel like I fucking popped a rib with him sometimes,
Yeah, he's great.
But Gail, because Jimmy and I go back a lot of years, and Gail, you were a little girl. You were like, I don't know, 4 or 5, 6 years old, and you were just crazy in love with Jimmy Schubert. And by the way, he's quarantining alone. You know what I mean? You could have fucking had
Interesting.
it.
Yeah. Could have.
That is funny, though, that you went for a Philly guy because maybe that got into your fucking noggin when you were a kid.
Yeah. I'm like, this is familiar.
Yeah. I'd like to see Farts a lot bring that kind of energy to the show. You know what I'm saying?
He can. I mean, in farts, yes, but not with words.
I'm going to read some of these comments. Mine. Let her have it.
And nobody took anything from her. Sometimes she just turns to tell you things are hers.
By the way, Coke Logic wrote, holy shit, 3 fires. Tommy hates, my money is on farts. Air Patrick said, laughing my ass off, the accuracy. Maslow wrote, farts a lot's catchphrase. When I hit 88 miles an hour, you're going to see some serious shit.
Oh.
These are nice. Super shit Stanley. Vito needs to turn here. Farts a lot. It looks like Pepper Hicks's diet of $1 pizza and ghetto Chinese takeout is paying dividends. Rennie just wrote, cool. Right on. Big Pep is still the coolest character. This is from WG. Hammy says, yes, please. I want an actual comic book. Great news, Farts a lot. Now, Vito, it seems like Farts a lot is getting all the heat, and, you're the captain of this.
Yeah, I mean, I think people just feel bad for the, giant fat slob underdog, and it's easier to root for an underdog in that situation. But I'm the captain. I'm the one with, I guess, the robotic powers and magical eye, and he farts and shits a lot. So
yeah,
that does happen. With superheroes and things, it's like this. It's really the side characters who are more interesting, or the villains.
The Joker, the Joker is definitely more interesting than Batman. Here, Pseudonym says, "Where was this photograph taken?" A lot of people think it's a straight photograph, but it's a drawing.
Yeah, it's a drawing. This isn't a photograph of me. I don't stand around in piles of shits. And the small puffs of smoke don't come out of my asshole when I fart.
Those aren't smoke. That's actually fart steam.
It's just a pure heat that's escaping your body.
It is very hot sometimes.
It's a reputation you've owned for yourself. Great artwork, Brocker Artworks. You can check him on his Twitter, Brocker Artworks. Brilliant stuff.
I wouldn't call it that.
Chris, I'm gonna get a printout of it, and I'm gonna hang it in the office. This way, you can look at it every day and remember how
Oh, that'll be nice.
Yeah, it'll
be a nice welcome home.
You know what we should do? Let's get some prints, and you guys can sign them. Farts a lot. Could sign it. Maybe we'll send you out to a Comic-Con when when this pandemic is over.
A, this isn't a real comic. B, I'm not signing Farts a lot fucking prints. I'm just not going to do that because this isn't me. This is some fucking facsimile of someone who farts a lot and stands in their own shits or other people's shits.
Yeah. By the way, you know your age when you say facsimile. You know what I mean? Like no young people say that at all, Chris. Hey. Gail, did the baby see farts a lot?
Oh, no, that's a good idea. I'm going to show it to her right now. Juju.
She likes cartoons. Yeah.
Don't show her this. Don't do it.
I think she'll like it. Yeah.
Farts a lot.
She's disturbed by it.
Yeah, farts a lot is scary for kids. I remember the first time I saw him, I started crying too.
What?
Hey, here's something, Gail. Go to Amy Schumer's, right, and see her baby sitting there with her husband. It's really adorable. They're watching, a movie together. But this really had me laughing because the baby is just holding on to his dad's nose.
This is so cute. They're watching Fantastic Mr. Fox.
Yeah, that's his
first movie.
First movie. But how funny enjoying the movie and just holding on to the nose.
That's so cute. Juju's first movie was Black Klansman.
Oh, that's so sweet. Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Because they thought, they thought he was a white guy, but he was actually a Black Klansman.
Mm-hmm.
Dude, if we get to Farts a Lot and Captain Khalees as a weekly cartoon show for kids, maybe we could even get Farts a Lot cereal where it's fart-flavored cereal.
Children shouldn't be watching something with someone called Farts a Lot on it. It'll give them a bad impression.
I think it's more important now than ever when you're teaching people to be more sanitary and clean that you see the villain is a big...
It's like a Goofus and Gallant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Big, sweaty, stinky mess. And then you see the hero is not that.
You must be so proud of yourself, Vito, because you look fantastic.
I am proud of myself. And that picture, that I'm going to say that photo makes me feel even better about everything.
Now, what is that on your eye? I'm trying to figure it out. I don't want to fucking sound like a grandmother, but I'm a little confused. I thought it was a faucet at first.
I don't know. I think Captain Khalees has some sort of, maybe X-ray power or eye power. I mean, it just...
Yeah, there is a red eye.
If I were to guess, Captain Khalees would be some sort of cyborg, and that's probably a cyborg.
Ew, Farts a Lot's at it again.
Yeah, that was a big one, Chris.
That I'm not farts a lot.
I can't figure out what's going through his cyborg eye. I do see the fart steam.
Yeah.
I want to let everyone
The proportions of the belly and the butt in the air are really, the best part, I think.
It's a nice looking ass, though.
Thanks.
What bothers me is the troubled look on his face.
Farts a lot's really the face up, ass up.
Oh, she thinks
What's she
that
looking
Captain
at?
Khalees is Dada.
Almost. I was almost your dad.
And look at that's farts a lot. That one's farts a lot.
And he really does. He really fucking does.
Yeah, farts a lot's pretty funny.
Yeah, he's funny.
See, kids think farts a lot's funny.
Kids love a fart. Those are like, remember those gross cards they have for kids and the kids would collect them?
Garbage pail kids.
Yes.
I almost said dumpster store kids. I don't know, some sort of a dumpster store.
This could be garbage ass kids. You know what I mean? Just an asshole that smells like garbage. A lot of kids might go out dressed like this for Halloween this year. What is she playing with? She's talking nutty today.
She's just jumping around. Poor thing, wants to go outside and play so badly.
We can't. There's Corona out there.
Yeah.
People are saying I'm an essential worker in a long-time care pharmacy. Who can I pay for a signed copy of Captain Khalees versus Farts a Lot? We could move this big. Gail, do you think when everything gets back to normal, you'll still be bringing the baby to work every day like you do now?
Probably not. Probably not, if I had to guess.
Back giving her to the maid to take care of?
The maid.
Oh,
The
Miss
au pair.
Juju. Yeah, au pair, little French lady.
I have the
Bum, bum,
same
bum, bum, bum.
nanny as Jeff Lowe.
Oh, you get a hot one. At least he was out front about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That was kind of cool. Like, he was like, hey, she's got to get her body back. Plus, we're going to get a really fucking hot nanny that we could both bang. There's a lot of people that hate him the worst and think that he got away with a lot. No one can ever figure out where his money came from or if he even had money.
I don't like the setup. You know what I mean? Like, to me, like, that sucks. Like, you set someone up to do it. It kind of reminds me of the guy who seemed to have his hands clean while the rest of the moms who wanted their kids to get into college got in trouble.
Yeah, I know. I fucking hate that dude. You're right. And they're still making that trial goes on, and we don't even care.
No.
By the way, Hard Rock Johnny wrote about farts a lot. Earl takes some really good pictures lately. I hope Vito didn't get sick being that close to Chris.
That wasn't a picture for the final time. It was a drawing by a person who's using their skills to make me look like a fat fart monster.
Chris should have to wear a mask on his butt.
Dude, that would be great so they don't know whose asshole it is that's stinking up the entire planet. Old Corona
The whole
ass.
planet?
Yeah, your Corona ass. Maybe Captain Khalees could have a cork that he just shoves in your fucking brown eye and makes everybody safe again.
I wouldn't think that would be the way to defeat farts a lot. Is just clog that ass up.
All right, you're giving away. That's interesting.
I don't know. I don't write this comic.
You live it, though. You're the fucking Dean Moriarty of this whole thing. You know what I mean? Like, no one knows that you're actually farts a lot, but there would not be a comic without you and your asshole.
I don't want there to be a comic in the first place.
Well, it already happened. Just enjoy it. Enjoy your fucking fame. Just enjoy your fame. You deserve it. Hey, tonight, Vito, you got to be excited about this. It's the last fucking night of the Manny show. After all these years, 11 years, Manny is done with Modern Family. And I think that's 2 episodes in a row. And then something that I've been waiting for since the quarantine started. They're bringing back Millionaire. Jimmy Kimmel is going to host Millionaire. And I believe it's going to be like a lot of celebrities playing for charities. And I wonder if you're playing for anything but the Corona thing, you look like a maniac, you know?
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to, even if you don't want to.
Either that or you just play for like unemployed dock workers or whatever, because everybody, you know, so many people have lost their gigs right now. Although, doesn't it feel like as soon as we reboot, there's going to be this rush on jobs? You know what I mean?
I feel like everyone's going to want to work.
Happen. Oh, of course. Of course. And you're going to scramble. Maybe there'll be something really great in your future. Maybe a lot of fucking people are like, you know, now that I'm out of this gig, I'd like to work outside or I'd like to do something totally different than I did before. It's going to feel fucking fantastic. Schubert set
Jimmy's
me
right,
up.
it's a
Where he was like,
reset.
we're gonna. Oh yeah, he set me up completely with that. I was like, fuck yeah. I definitely see that. I'm gonna be nicer to farts a lot in the future. I'm gonna stop teasing people that have gas problems.
Well, I hope I
Vito,
farts a lot. You mean me?
Vito, are you hoping to go out big with Modern Family?
I'm hoping they can return to form tonight, but it's been like I feel like 5 or 6 years since they had a good episode. I saw last week's episode, and it was about a snake egg got lost at an Easter party.
Yeah, it was fucking great.
Like I just don't get like if a big show like that is going out on its last year, I don't get why they wouldn't go out of their way to get like the writers from the early seasons to come back for the last few episodes.
Yeah, well, you know, they could have stayed an extra year. Nobody was even asking them to leave, and the show stinks. So obviously they have no respect for anyone. Here's what I predict tonight. This show is going to be seen by more people than watched the last episode of MASH. How many people are in the country? 330 million?
Yeah.
I believe they're going to get 325 million viewers.
That would be huge.
Yeah, it's going to be gigantic. Hi, Pop Pop.
Hey, Juju, can you say hi, Pop Pop? Hi, Papa.
Hi, baby. Hi, Juju.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Vito, I was telling you,
can't really
Juju is a good girl. She's so good. I was watching her turn the light switch on and off all morning.
By the way, you can't really use uh-oh when you purposefully throw something. I'd like to be able to teach her that. Uh-oh, I did something mean-spirited.
Uh-oh, little accident.
She's just throwing all the crayons off the bed now.
What would you think Vito is going to go out with today, Gail?
Oh, my God. I forgot about a song.
Got to be John Prine, right?
Yeah, that's a good point. It's got to be.
Chris Stanley, what are you picking that he goes out with today?
I was thinking Take the Money and Run, Steve Miller Band.
Based on
Why?
what?
I mean, I
Steve
feel like
Miller
that's
died?
he didn't die, no. I was just thinking, that songs were running through my head a lot, so I was thinking Steve Miller.
So you thought he's inside your head?
No, just the song has been stuck in my head.
I mean, I think you got to go out with Angel from Montgomery. I mean, we're playing that, you know. And then a lot of people are like, you know, I wrote a lot of other songs. Guess what? This is the hit. Don't fucking hate the hit. I hate people who, like, hate the hit. It's like when I went and saw Metallica, people were like, oh, Enter Sandman. Shut the fuck up. It's Enter Sandman. That's their hit.
They have to do it.
Everybody's got a Born to Run. If you're lucky, you get a Born to Run in your life. But I don't know. You never know with Vito. You never know what he's going to play. Got to thank Jessica Pilate for... well, we did an all West Coast show today. Did you notice that?
I know. It was West Coast, Best Coast.
It was our version of the West Coast. Two fucking Northeast people who moved out there. We're much more comfortable with that than
West Coast with a very strong Philly accent.
Yeah. You know, we're not that comfortable with people who grew up in Tarzana, but anybody from back east who moves out there, we're like, oh, talking to a real LA person. Jessica Pilate, and what a big day for her that she got Randy Newman to write a song. Cashmere, always great on Wednesdays to have Cashmere doing Dish. And then there's the funny as anyone who ever does it, Jimmy Schubert, who just came in here, just fucking
That was hilarious.
throwing haymakers one after another. You know, right? I don't know what to do with it, you know. But he's right. I can't. I mean, I don't tell anybody not to try to do stand up to nobody on Zoom, but it's hard to watch.
Yeah. I feel the same of any kind of Instagram live. It's uncomfortable for me. I don't mean to click it, and then I try to run away.
They're all our friends doing it too. Giving it away. And then you look at some of these fucking people that are, you know, pretty big fucking stars, and they got, I'm just clicking something out, 2 people, 9 people. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Be better than this.
Yeah, I don't want to see anybody in that situation.
No. And then I also don't want to be stuck in there.
No.
Fucking giving hearts for no apparent reason. All right, that's it for us. Thanks to all our guests. We'll be back in here tomorrow. Vito, congratulations on your comic strip. Captain Khalees and Chris Stanley, congratulations, pal.
No, thank you.
We love doing the show for you guys, and we'll see you back in here tomorrow.